You got it? AP.
I'm here.
You got it?
No, I ain't get it. No, I ain't check yet either though.
I sent it. Look, real quick though, before I even start.
It says you live. It says you live right now.
Oh shit, I am live. I'm bugging, yo. Oh, my bad. All right, hold on. Let me start it. Hold on. Invader, this is Holy Invader. Invader, send Holy Invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Where the fuck am I going? Who the hell could I be? All this time I've been lost. Vessel trapped in the sea. Chains holding my legs. I just want to be free. This picking my throat. Hell yeah, and they know it. Every tears keep going. You can see it in my phenotypes and that damn Indian showing. This knowledge keeping me steady. 45 on my hip and my armor man stay ready. I hit the streets in my Chevy. Blunt, burn, smoke, smoking heavy. Man, here you go, I got plenty. Fans up for what's in it. In the land I lost many. Cause every nigga ain't feeling. And every man ain't really. No D-Bows but Stanley. No heroes for my family. Our bees keeping us daily. Invader, this is Holy Invader. Invader, send Holy Invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Invader, this is Holy Invader. Invader, send Holy Invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Where the fuck you come from? Kidnapping our babies. 11 million abortions. Whole country is scorching. Daddy stealing my portion. Bitch, give me my land back. Inside no contracts. Why you wasting all of our trust funds? We don't know who your daddy is, but we know who your kid is. Take the food off of my plate. Leave that shit with my phone. Motherfucking invader, this is Holy Invader. Invader, send Holy Invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Invader, this is Holy Invader. Invader, send Holy Invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Hey ya, 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 hey ya. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Invader, this is Holy Invader. Invader, send Holy Invader. Invader, this is Holy Invader. Invader, send Holy Invader. Invader, this is Holy Invader. Invader, send Holy Invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Hey ya, 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 Peace. Sounds Wahanu, aka A1 or Thompson Swan.
John Prince, just Prince, nice.
Got my brother AP with me. as usual. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to all the Aborigines, North, South, Central, Virgin Islands. Shout out to all of us. We are officially home. And it's good to know that. It's good to know you did not abandon where you was originally from, even though some of us did, including some of us that's even in this country. A lot of us migrated north to escape the terrorism of the KKK and a lot of the shit that was going on in the South, and a lot of us stayed in the South. So, we also migrated. So at some point. All right, so what I wanted to talk about, because I've been checking this thing out with this reparations thing lately, and I checked the video out. The Danny Glover and the nigga Todd and the He Coates and I think Cory Booker, they all testify on behalf of slavery. Right? Now keep this in mind, right? They gonna deviate from that slavery shit, right? And see how they deviate from it. Like the more see you got a lot of these people sitting there saying they have nothing to do with slavery, and most of the people responsible for slavery are not around, right? That's not true. We know who was the people primarily who made a lot of us give up our rights or renounce our tribes. So we're gonna so we're gonna get into that. I'm just gonna play a little bit of this video. So just bear with me because I'm gonna be playing clips. I don't have the video. I'm not gonna show the video. I'm just gonna be playing audio of the video. And matter of fact, you know what? Let me see something. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Share my screen. I'm just gonna show you what I'm. All right, let me go here real quick. Sorry about that. All right, so we on there. Let me see this brother right here. I've been checking out lately. Obashango, you know what I'm saying? Check the brother out. The brother actually has a OneDrive that I've been downloading shit from his OneDrive for like since Monday. Just a lot of historical and anthropologist stuff about America. Some stuff I got, some stuff I don't got. You got books on there, you got whole PDFs. I had a conversation with the brother. Like I said, the brother enlightened me a lot, even just dealing with some of the understanding that we don't have. As far as the connection, because he is actually, well, he's a Moor, but he's not a MSTA Moor, but he says that his grandmother raised him as an Indian. So, we had a good conversation about that. Hopefully I'll be able to bring the brother on eventually, but we got work to do, man. We got work to do, really. Because, like I said, even watching this whole reparation thing, this shit is funny. You know what I'm saying? You got all these people representing you, all these immigrants representing us that's telling us that we don't deserve nothing, but your ancestors left and came here. Now, maybe you need to remind these Europeans who their ancestors was, because a lot of them are smiling, thinking that they have nothing to do with the people who came here and did what the fuck they did. But when you look at the whole, none of these people was invited here. No one sent no invitations and told people to come here. They came here and did what they did because they was greedy and they wanted the fucking land. And that's it. And then they sit up there and look we don't have nothing to do with it. We're trying to move on. Nah, if you really want to move on, this shit is still fresh from 30, 40 years ago and still going on now. Still shooting brothers down in the fucking streets. So, like I said, at the end of the day, man, these people, like, It's just an ugly situation, man. Because you got Danny Glove up there, and I don't know about him. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's damn sure on some cool shit. You got Cory Booker up there, and none of them are addressing the exact situation. Even the people of Adows don't even know the exact situation. So I advise anybody, like, really share this video. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, these people can understand it, because they don't fucking understand history. You looking in the wrong areas about what happened.
Right.
What you got something you gonna pick?
No, I was just saying you're absolutely right. We looking in the wrong places. And I believe we even using the wrong language, the wrong terminologies to get what we want. I don't believe reparations is for our people.
Bro, listen. What they did not say up there when they was in front of that forum of all white people and one black woman, which is like, niggas, you gotta start asking people, where are you from? Okay, and then I'm gonna tell you like this. This is how we should view reparations. If you don't have no ancestors that can go back to the Civil War, then you should not get shit. If you came here willingly and you experienced racism, then you should not get shit. I don't care what color your skin is. If you ain't the people who was here primarily at the time of the Civil War that came here and experienced this shit through Jim Crow and until now, then you don't get nothing. And that's wherever the fuck you came from. No people came here in the 1900s and you run around here yelling reparations. You should get reparations, or you even speaking on behalf of people who been through this, and you know damn well your people. You only saying it's your people because you look like them, but you have no direct lineage or no direct connection to this shit that these people that happened to these people. But you gonna come here and talk up for people and say, like I said, I don't want no. I mean, like I said, most niggas say they don't want no check. Nigga, sign a motherfucking check. Okay, sign a check, but there's other causes too to reparations, like tax-free exemption, like of all, just ride through. And like I said, we building on this already. I'm just putting the video out there just for observation. You know what I'm saying? But tax exemption, school, everything, the full Monty. But they will never do that, because these white people are so fucking jealous. And then, like, that's what I say. Like, you see how jealous they are through their ways and actions throughout the day. Like, you cut a white person off, watch what happens, because they are so entitled. And then you see what the title is. I got American descendants of white settlers. Okay, I got American descendants of slaves. Whether you're an Indian slave or you think you're African slave. Most of them think they're African slaves, and they talk so naively. Like, how are you so naive and you never cross-reference this with none of the information you got? That's what find me. So how the fuck is these people supposed to be scholars, or unless they have a hand in their back and they are the puppet, they being puppeteered by somebody. So I'm gonna play a little bit of this video. In fact, you know what? Let me see something. I want to play right here. This bitch Sheila Jackson. They always let her talk. So I'm gonna play her, and I'm gonna let Cory Booker talk, and I'm gonna play a little bit of the rest of it. All right, so just bear with me. And it's this video right here. All right, so we're gonna be right there when I started. So bear with me, because y'all can't hear it off of my laptop that well. So I'm gonna play it on my desktop. Right, so here we go.
Chairman Nadler for identity of HR 4 as a legitimate legislative action.
You can hear this, AP?
Receive the full hearing of this committee. Should in fact have a markup.
Yeah, I can hear it loud and clear.
Go to the floor of the House.
All right, okay.
Go to the United States Senate and be signed by the President of the United States of America. This is a action of legislative commitment, and this is not a symbolic action, though I am gratified that we are having this hearing on Juneteenth. For those of us who understand Juneteenth, 2 years after the proclamation, Emancipation Proclamation, there were those Africans who did not have freedom until 1865. So let me begin and indicate to my friends who have expressed a variety of assessments of H.R. 40 and say that America is a place that welcomes the diversity of thought. We even welcome the diversity of thought among the multicolored chocolate people that are African Americans, descendants of African slaves. Let me be very clear. It is only this group, even though they attempted to enslave Native Americans, it is only this group that can singularly claim to have been slaves under the auspices, the institution, and leadership of the United States government. And so, H.R. 40 is in fact, the response.
So hold up. So she just told a direct lie. A direct lie. If anything, they treated the Africans that came here, if they came here, because I'm hearing stories about people who came here to be workers, they treated them much better than they treated the indigenous people.
Right.
Indigenous people was treated the worst. They were treated way worse than any Africans that was born here. Way worse. They try to downplay it, but we've been reading this shit for listen, if you've been on my channel, I've done damn near every motherfucking slave story there is with Indians, put the numbers out there, read the documentation. We heard what happened to the people from the West Coast all the way to the Pequot, the Wapanaki. We got Seneca Village up there, how they was kicked out of their home. And I'm gonna tell you, every day I drive through this place in Jersey, right? And I see the Lenape trails. So if the trails is the Lenape, then the land, the park is the Lenapes too. How is the trail in the Lenapes that's in the area where you got a fucking park at that public people come in? Where the Lenapes at? They abandoned the land. And then see, this will happen everywhere. But they abandoned it with force, with coercion and distress. But people don't acknowledge that. They try to make it seem like these people just migrated. And these people live in a fantasy world. You understand what I'm saying? Where they don't really know the history or relive the history, or they're being told the history and being certain parts are not being added to the history. So, you know, like I said, what she just said was only Africans. Get the fuck out. It was only, according to them, we know we got the fucking numbers. We got the numbers. We got the numbers according to them on how many people they saying came here. We got the numbers. You understand what I'm saying? We got the fucking numbers, and there's no way you can deny that. You can't deny the fucking numbers. And I'm going to play something else for you. I'm going to play a few other things that we already seen, but we just going to connect it and just show you how we looked over a lot of things. All right, so I'm going to play some more of this right here. And actually, she actually right here talking. This is who's talking right now. Okay, all right, so I'm going to play some more of this, all right, and we're going to get into the rest of this, all right? So we're going to listen. We already know. They claim 380,000 so-called Africans came here. Okay, I can show you on it now. 380,000 people, whether you believe they was people who was sent from over here to the Caribbeans and then sent back, or people who were sent over there in Europe and sent back. That happened too.
But see, another thing is, big bro, it's always some foreigners speaking up on behalf of the American Negro. I'm not taking away nothing from my island brothers and sisters, but they not the main island American Negro. They didn't go through the same thing we went through. And so I don't believe that they should be speaking up on our behalf, because like you said, she just told a bold-faced lie. Talking about they attempted to enslave the Indians. What? There was more Indians enslaved than Africans.
That's right. But they don't want to talk about that because see, what they want you to think is this. Whatever happened to the Indians, see, look, you got to think of it like this, right? Whatever happened to the original Indians that was in the Southeast, they want to tell you two things. They're going to tell you that they went in the Trail of Tears, and one going to leave, one going to stop right there, ain't never going to do no further research about the Trail and say, wait a minute. You was enslaving people here from the time you got. So where are the people that, you classify the Indians as colored? Oh shit, hold up. We go back to 1950, colored water fountain only. You was only calling one person colored here. So it's not hard to find where the fucking Indians at, but you gotta get people to pay attention and understand that. And it's like, yo, you can't even do it because you got these idiots up there talking about their fucking slaves and don't even understand they're really prisoners of war. Because to be truthful with you, this whole slavery narrative is a whole fucking lie, man. And people don't understand because they're showing you images. They don't have no documentation other than what they showing you and what they telling you about. You don't even, the white people that's doing this might be classified as black, might be black people. We don't even know. I'm telling you like that. We don't even know. I've spoken to so many people outside of who wasn't Moors who was saying that Indians was classified as whites. And you have black people who was classified as white. So we know with these statuses that it's a lot of funny business going on. So, sometimes I got to sit here and reevaluate the way I look at things too. But one thing I'm not going to reevaluate is to take away from the fact that it was more, the blacks, Indians that was in this country outnumbered. And see what we also doing this too. We look on these fucking tribes and you see these people. So you think that's what an Indian look. No. That don't mix Indians. Really? I mean, and you would say some of us are mixed too. But guess what though? The majority of the motherfucking Indians are in South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky, fucking Georgia, Florida. They in the ghettos. So the small majority of people you see claiming these tribes is nothing compared to the people who don't know that they're part of the tribes. How about that? So you see these people and you go, that's it. No. That's not an Indian, my dude. Look at how we look, man. We don't look like Africans, bro. And I'm telling you, it ain't got nothing to do with no admixtures. It just ain't got nothing to do with it. We just totally different people. Every now and then you see one African who may have a sense of rhythm like a black American or even has the same frequency. We on a different frequency. Let's put it like that. So our frequencies, but you might be listening to up here is what 105.1, and then you got what 97.1, and then you got 105.7, and then we used to have Kiss, but Kiss is fucking ESPN now. But so let's say I'm on a different frequency. You're FM, I'm AM. You know what I'm saying? But the AM station that I'm on is doing all this amazing shit. Now I'm not saying these brothers ain't doing no amazing shit because they excel at fucking the marathons, man. To be able to dive because I don't know why they excel because I believe it's the sun. I believe they're able to that sun doesn't dehydrate them like it does the other people. That's why they're able to run and keep their endurance. See, white people be running, they get cramps, they fuck up in the marathon. But brothers run them shits, baby, like smooth and easy. You know what I'm saying? Your man Alan Brown, aka Rob Bourne and shit, he be running marathons. You know what I'm saying? That nigga be running, he be running 25 miles and shit like it ain't nothing. So I know that if we really jog, like we was the runners, man. What did Barazano say, man? We swift runners. He said, they swift runners. That's only one person, man. And you got a few people who could do what they see us do. You have a few white people who are on the same frequency as us. So don't think that, okay, we're on a frequency, but there's other people who can tune into that frequency too. But not all of them can. So how about that? So I'm gonna play some more of this. Let's get with it.
Of the United States of America, long overdue. Slavery is the original sin. Slavery has never received an apology. This commission would be comprised of members selected by the President of the United States, the Speaker of the House, the leader, and of course, those who've been entrenched in this process. I spoke to John Conyers yesterday. I'm honored to have been given the opportunity to lead this bill. John Conyers said to move on and to lead on, and for us to take this forward. Thank you, Congressman John Conyers, for all that you have done. So let me share with you just a sense of what we face. Let me first of all say the number of Africans who died in the Middle Passage, over 2 million. Number of enslaved who died during slavery, first, second, and third generation, over 2.5 million. The transatlantic slave trade was the largest movement of people in history. Between 10 and 15 million Africans were forcibly transported across the Atlantic between 1500 and 1900. At least 2 million Africans, 10 to 15%, died in the infamous Middle Passage, as I said. Another 15 to 30% died during the march to or confinement along the coast. Altogether, for every 100 slaves who reached the New World, another 40 died in Africa or doing movement of people in history. Between 10 and 15 million Africans were forcibly transported across the Atlantic between 1500 and 1900. At least 2 million Africans, 10 to 15%, died in the infamous Middle Passage, as I said. Another 15 to 30% died during the march to or confinement along the coast. Altogether, for every 100 slaves who reached the New World, another 40 died in Africa or doing the Middle Passage. Who has a history like that? Reparations and the idea of this commission should be welcomed by all Americans. For we are not asking one American to give one payment. What we're saying is that the only way that slavery ended was a governmental action of the 13th Amendment, governmental action. And Reconstruction failed after 12 years because it was imploded by governmental people. And after Reconstruction, a reign of terror that had never been seen. The hanging fruit, the lynching, the oppression of voting, the tearing away of land, and the amazing concept of the continuing de jure and de facto impact of slavery today. 1 million African Americans are incarcerated. That is a continuing impact. The Black employment rate is 6.6%, in spite of what has been said currently, more than double the national unemployment rate. 31% of Black children live in poverty compared to 11% of white children. The national average is 18%, which suggests the percentage of Black children living in poverty is more than 150%, even in spite of the glorious overcoming of the talent that is part of our community, the scrapping together of making sure our children received education, putting together something out of nothing. We still have been impacted. And only 57% of Black students have access to full range of math and science classes today. Black children were vaccinated at rates lower than white children. Education mobility has been limited. Black children represent 19% of the nation's preschool population, yet 47% of those receiving more than one out-of-school suspension. Black students are 2.3 times as likely to receive a referral to law enforcement. And we know the criminal justice system. So I conclude by these words. Black people in America are the descendants of Africans kidnapped and transported to the United States with the explicit complicity of the U.S. government and every arm of the United States lawmaking and law enforcement infrastructure. The dehumanizing and atrocities of slavery were not isolated occurrences, but mandated by federal laws that were codified and enshrined in the Constitution. The role of the federal government in supporting the institution of slavery and subsequent discrimination directed against Blacks is an injustice that must be formally acknowledged and addressed. I am not here in anger or anguish. I am not in any way seeking to encourage hostilities. There are diverse opinions in this room, and I understand it, appreciate it, respect it, admire it, and love it. I'm a product of my history. I am clearly a child that has walked this path. No, I did not pick cotton. But I will say that those who picked cotton created the very basic wealth of this nation. For cotton was king. There was no other product. And so I ask my fellow colleagues that this is simply a constructive discussion that will lead to the practical responses. And if I might, Mr. Chairman, put this article in the record, from the New York Times, dated June 17th. Downtown boom, Kansas City, Missouri, and just a few blocks away, devastation in the Black community. Two cities, mostly in every area. I ask unanimous consent, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection.
Two cities. I also ask unanimous consent to put a statement of support from John Legend.
Without objection.
Two cities, Mr. Chairman. And so let me just conclude by saying, I hope that we come in peace. I know that we'll hear from Senator Booker. I thank him. And I thank a number of others who have done this, including the heads of state, scholars, and activists in the Caribbean, playing a leading role in the global reparation movement. Many have been inspired by our work. I'm delighted to see that Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Vice Chancellor of the University of West Indies and Chairman of CARICON Reparations Commission, has traveled all the way from Jamaica to be here. Thank you. I am particularly glad that we're coming together as brothers and sisters and passing out accolades. I want to certainly acknowledge Cobra for its steadfast leadership on this issue over the years and playing an instrumental role in garnering sponsors of HR 40. We're also delighted that several members of the National African American Reparations Commission are present. I want to thank them for working closely with the Dean, Congressman John Conyers, in reforming HR 40 into a bill to study reparations. I'm delighted to have reintroduced it with its modification and carrying it forward to its next level. Thank you, Dr. Ron Daniels. We thank you for your leadership. Look forward to working with you in the National African American Reparations Commission as we educate the nation on the importance.
Member Johnson, I'm glad that my written testimony will be put into the record. I just want to say that I'm sitting before you on many days that I come down to Washington brokenhearted and very angry. I live in a Black and brown inner city community below the poverty line. I've lived and worked in communities like this all my adult life. And yesterday, hundreds of yards from where I live, there were 7 Black men shot. And this is an everyday occurrence in America. I have the privilege of having leaders in my community who over the decades have given me strength. One of them was a woman and lived on the 5th floor of the projects, our tenant president in some buildings in which I lived, whose son was murdered as well in our community. And she taught me that hope is the active conviction that despair won't have the last word. But on a day like this, when I come back to Washington, D.C., 7 people shot in my community, I wonder if other senators had people shot like that in their neighborhood, whether that wouldn't be a lead national story. But I see the lives of low-income folks, the lives of Black and brown folks, when people are shot and killed, the world seems to keep going on. And so I wonder about having the last word. What happens when the last word is no words, when it's silence? And I feel a sense of anger where we are in the United States of America, where we have not had direct conversations about a lot of the root causes of the inequities and the pain and the hurt manifested in economic disparities, manifested in health disparities, manifested in a criminal justice system that is indeed a form of new Jim Crow. So we as a nation have not yet truly acknowledged and grappled with racism and white supremacy that has tainted this country's founding and continues to persist in those deep racial disparities and inequalities today. This is a very important hearing. It is historic. It is urgent. I look at communities like mine, and you could literally see how communities were designed to be segregated, designed based upon enforcing institutional racism and inequities. We know that racialized violence and terrorism has persisted from Reconstruction well into the 1950s, as my friend Brian Stevenson's National Memorial for Peace and Justice shows. We've seen bombings of churches. We've seen massacres at places as recently as the Emmanuel AME Church just 4 years ago. The stain of slavery was not just inked in bloodshed, but in the overt state-sponsored policies that fueled white supremacy and racism and have disadvantaged African Americans economically for generations. Many of the bedrock policies, in fact, that ushered generations of Americans into the middle class were designed to exclude African Americans from the GI Bill, the Social Security, intentionally designed to exclude Blacks, as was school segregation, redlining, neighborhoods like the one in which I live, which were by design walled off and disinvested in. And while these policies of the past, their damage and their reality has endured across generations and have created and led to so much of the racial wealth gaps in our country. Right now, we see cities like Boston, where the average white family has somewhere around $240,000 in wealth, and the average Black family has about $8 in wealth. Health outcomes also vary widely by race. National Black women are nearly 4 times as likely to die from pregnancy complications as white women, and in so many other areas. The criminal justice system as well. No difference between Blacks and whites for using drugs or selling drugs, but African Americans are about 4 times more likely to be arrested. These injustices do not just cause injustice for African Americans. It enforces a deep injustice in our nation as a whole. It is a cancer on the soul of our country and hurts the whole body politic, making us all less wealthy, making us all less just, making us all fall far short from being who we say we are when we swear an oath that this will be a nation of liberty and justice for all. I believe this is an urgent moment, and this bill, which I am now leading on the Senate side, is the beginning of an important process, not just to examine and study this history that has not been addressed, the silence that persists, but also to find practical ideas to address the enduring injustices in our nation. The characterizations of such an effort that I hear from others is wrong and undermines our collective purpose and common ground. This idea that it's just about writing a check from one American to another falls far short of the importance of this conversation and what I believe we will truly talk about. I say that I am brokenhearted and angry right now. Decades of living in a community where you see how deeply unfair this nation is still to so many people who struggle, who work hard, who do everything right, but still find themselves disproportionately with lead in their water, super funds in their neighborhood, schools that don't serve their genius, healthcare disparities that still affect their body and their well-being. We as a nation must address these persistent inequalities where we will never fully achieve the strength and the possibility. Hope is the active conviction that despair will not have the last word. I believe right now, today, we have a historic opportunity to break the silence, to speak to the ugly past, and talk constructively about how we will move this nation forward. As the old African saying says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It's about time we find the common ground and the common purpose to deal with the ugly past and make sure that generations ahead do not have to continue to mark disparities, but can truly talk about a nation where, as our ancestors spoke from the good book, where justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much, Senator Booker. I appreciate your testimony, very heartfelt and well received. I do also want to just reiterate that Congressman Al Green was here and great champion. Now I'd like to call upon our second panel and thank Senator Booker for his sponsorship and his statement and wonderful words. Thank you, sir. Second panel, if they come forward, I guess we need chairs. There we go. The chair crowd is here. Good.
No one being alive to sign those treaties. Many of us would love to be taxed for the things we are solely and individually responsible for. But we are American citizens and thus bound to a collective enterprise that
He's the author of 3 books, numerous articles, and blog posts. Mr. Coates, thank you for being here, and you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Yesterday, when asked about reparations, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell offered a familiar reply. America should not be held liable for something that happened 150 years ago, since none of us currently alive are responsible. This rebuttal proffers a strange theory of governance, that American accounts are somehow bound by the lifetime of its generations. But well into this century, the United States was still paying out pensions to the heirs of Civil War soldiers. We honor treaties that date back some 200 years, despite no one being alive who signed those treaties. Many of us would love to be taxed for the things we are solely and individually responsible for. But we are American citizens and thus bound to a collective enterprise that extends beyond our individual and personal reach. It would seem ridiculous to dispute invocations of the founders or the greatest generation on the basis of a lack of membership in either group. We recognize our lineage as a generational trust, as inheritance. And the real dilemma posed by reparations is just that, a dilemma of inheritance. It's impossible to imagine America without the inheritance of slavery. As historian Ed Baptist has written, enslavement, quote, shaped every crucial aspect of the economy and politics of America, so that by 1836, more than 600 million, almost half of the economic activity in the United States derived directly or indirectly from the cotton produced by the million-odd slaves. By the time the enslaved were emancipated, they comprised the largest single asset in America, $3 billion in 1860, more than all the other assets in the country combined. The method of cultivating this asset was neither gentle cajoling nor persuasion, but torture, rape, and child trafficking. Enslavement reigned for 250 years on these shores. When it ended, this country could have extended its hallowed principles, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to all, regardless of color. But America had other principles in mind. And so for a century after the Civil War, Black people were subjected to a relentless campaign of terror, a campaign that extended well into the lifetime of Majority Leader McConnell. It's tempting to divorce this modern campaign of terror, of plunder, from enslavement. The logic of enslavement, of white supremacy, respects no such borders. And the god of bondage was lustful and begat many heirs. Coup d'etats and convict leasing, vagrancy laws and debt peonage, redlining and racist GI bills, poll taxes and state-sponsored terrorism. We grant that Mr. McConnell was not alive for Appomattox, but he was alive for the electrocution of George Stinney. He was alive for the blinding of Isaac Woodward. He was alive to witness kleptocracy in his native Alabama and a regime premised on electoral theft. Majority Leader McConnell cited civil rights legislation yesterday, as well he should, because he was alive to witness the harassment, jailing, and betrayal of those responsible for that legislation by a government sworn to protect them. He was alive for the redlining of Chicago and the looting of Black homeowners of some $4 billion. Victims of that plunder are very much alive today. I am sure they'd love a word with the Majority Leader. What they know, what this committee must know, is that while emancipation deadbolted the door against the bandits of America, Jim Crow wedged the windows wide open. And that is the thing about Senator McConnell's something. It was 150 years ago, and it was right now. The typical Black family in this country has 1/10 the wealth of the typical white family. Black women die in childbirth at 4 times the rate of white women. And there is, of course, the shame of this land of the free, boasting the largest prison population on the planet, of which the descendants of the enslaved make up the largest share. The matter of reparations is one of making amends and direct redress, but it is also a question of citizenship. In H.R. 40, this body has a chance to both make good on its 2009 apology for enslavement and reject fair weather patriotism, to say that a nation is both its credits and its debits. That if Thomas Jefferson matters, so does Sally Hemings. That if D-Day matters, so does Black Wall Street. And if Valley Forge matters, so does Fort Pillow. Because the question really is not whether we will be tied to the somethings of our past, but whether we are courageous enough to be tied to the whole of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coates. Next witness is Mr. Danny Glover, actor, producer, and an activist for various causes. He's currently Goodwill Ambassador for UNICEF, chairman of the board of Trans-Africa Forum, an African-American lobbying organization for Africa and the Caribbean, and a friend of Harry Belafonte. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Start the clock.
Thank you, Mr. Coates. It's not often that you hear the words of a young man and they enliven your emotional memory, your historic memory, as he just did at this moment. Thank you so much. I am deeply honored to be here today, offering my testimony at this historic meeting about the reckoning of a crime against humanity that is foundational to the development of democracy and material well-being in this country. A national reparations policy is a moral, democratic, and economic imperative. I sit here as the great-grandson of a former slave, Mary Brown, who was freed by the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863. I had the fortune of meeting her as a small child. I also sit here as the grandson of Reese May Huntley and Rufus Mack Huntley.
All Indians.
My maternal grandparents,
Stupid
who were
motherfucker.
born before Plessy versus Ferguson, Supreme Court decision in 1896. And for a significant portion of their lives, they worked as sharecroppers and tenant farmers in rural Georgia until they were able to save enough money to purchase a small farm. They were subsistence farmers. Despite much progress over the centuries, this hearing is yet another important step in the long and heroic struggle of African Americans to secure reparations for the damages inflicted by enslavement and post-emancipation and racial exclusionary policies. Many of the organizations who are present today at this hearing are amongst the historical contributors to the present national discourse, congressional deliberations, and Democratic Party presidential campaign policy discussions about reparations. We are also indebted to the work of Congressman John Conyers for shepherding this legislation. The adoption of H.R. 40 can be a signature legislative achievement, especially within the context of the United Nations International Decade of People of African Descent. We should also note that the Common Market Nations and the Caribbean Community CARICOM Reparations Commission, chaired by Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, who is here with us today, has exercised a leadership role from which we as a nation can benefit. Our sustained, direct, effective policy actions in full collaboration with African Americans and progressive citizens, allies, is the ultimate proof of the sincerity of our national commitment to repair the damages of the legally and often religiously sanctioned inhumanity of slavery, segregation, and current structural racism that limit full democratic participation and material advancement of African Americans and of our country's progress as a beacon of justice and equality. So I call on all of the elected public officials in Congress to demonstrate your commitment in action today and stand forth with Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee and co-sign H.R. 40. In closing,
with the insightful and still, I close, excuse me, with the insightful and still relevant words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968. And I quote, "Why is the issue of equality still so far from solution in America? A nation which professes itself to be democratic, inventive, hospitable to new ideas, rich, productive, and ultimately powerful. Justice for Black people will not flow into society merely from court decisions, nor from fountains of political oratory, nor will a few token changes quell all the tempestuous yearnings of millions of disadvantaged Black people. White America must recognize that justice for Black people cannot be achieved without radical changes in the structure of our society. The comfortable, the entrenched, the privileged cannot continue to tremble at the prospect of change in the status quo." Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead. Ms. Katrina Brown is our next witness. She's a freelance speaker, educator, and facilitator. She produced and directed the documentary film Traces of the Trade, A Story from the Deep North, which she made in response to her discovery that her Rhode Island ancestors were the largest slave trading family in United States history. She also currently serves as a consultant for the Episcopal Church's initiatives on racial healing, justice, and reconciliation, authoring a 10-session race dialogue series for congregational use. And I must parenthetically say that we were doing our apology. The Episcopal Church beat us to it. They were leaders on that effort. She has an MA in theology from the Pacific School of Religion, where she wrote a thesis on film and civic dialogue, and you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Cohen and Ranking Member Johnson and Representative Jackson Lee for the opportunity to speak this morning. I grew up in Philadelphia, 6 blocks from Independence Hall and the Liberty Bell. I am a deep-seated patriot. So it was devastating to learn from my grandmother at age 28 that our ancestors had been slave traders, and to discover that the DeWolfs were, in fact, the largest slave trading family in United States history, bringing over 12,000 Africans to the Americas in chains. But these were my Rhode Island ancestors, and that Rhode Island turns out to be the state that sent more ships to Africa than any other, required me to reorganize my brain. The amnesia in my family matched the larger amnesia of the North, the self-serving myths of being always on the right side of history. I could no longer carry a sense of moral superiority relative to white Southerners, nor a sense of innocence vis-a-vis Black claims on the white conscience. I decided to initiate a family journey to retrace the triangle trade. 9 relatives joined me, 2 of which are here today, and the documentary Traces of the Trade is the result, the subtitle being A Story from the Deep North. What we learned, how we stumbled, how we grew during that journey led me to become a passionate believer in the importance of reckoning with the history and legacy of slavery. A believer in personal and family reckonings, institutional ones, and larger national reckoning.
All right, fuck all that. I'm done with that. I'm gonna just pull her pics up, and we're just gonna build from there. All right, so this shit was a fucking fiasco because none of these people. I mean, they made some good points historically. I think that everything that they said was on, but it's still a fucking dog and pony show. Because, you know, they not admitting they saying that all these slaves was fucking African. When you could find, like, I don't know, like, I guess we are the only people who can see some of this shit. Or maybe they don't want to see it because they don't want to admit, because the real question is going to be, well, hold up. Well, all right, when we study history, all right, so how did white people get here? Oh, white people came here for what? So you are the descendants of the people who came here. So you are the descendants of the people who benefited from everything and came here and took land from the people. But as long as they say that they dragged you from Africa and they never speak up, well, you never can bring up a claim for the land, because the thing of it is the claim for the land. Like, okay, what we can pull numerous articles up. It's going to tell you. I'm about to go into this shit right now. So, like I said, man, share this video, man. Let's get into this. All right. Shout out to my brother. I don't really want to put his name out there, but man, the brother is very fucking sharp, bro. Like, real talk, man. Damn, he's nigga sharp, bro. Like, I have to reevaluate some of my understanding or some of my teaching. Right, but guess know that your boy's back. I got a bunch of fucking, I told you, the brother Obashango, man, go to his website, his drive is $5. Niggas gonna complain about that. Go to the man drive and download the information that the brother got up there, man. Yo, I've been downloading information. I haven't even been wanting to make a video because I've been downloading so much shit from his website or whatever. Once I got the drive is mine. But I want to, like, some of the stuff I already got some of the stuff, but it's just it's so much stuff that I don't got. You understand? It's so much stuff that I do not have that I had to go back to. Right. All right. So let's get with this. All right. So look, this is what I learned in a couple of days speaking to the brother Coda. Shout out to that man. For real, man. I ain't like I said, I'm a knowledge seeker, man. And I know the truth when I hear it, and I know how to organize it. You know what I'm saying? Even in a judicial setting or any type of function. I could have spoke at this hearing and put the real facts out there. They don't want to hear the real. They don't want to hear the real facts. They don't want to hear the real facts. Is that European white settlers came here, took land from people, and made people abandon their land. As a result, you claim the land and then classify these people as African and fucking African colored and Negro. Okay, then you get the word Negro confused with thinking that they're Africans, not knowing that the word Negro is related to the Spanish, when the Spanish came to the Caribbean, and they put them people in servitude, which that word Negro is a word for. Okay, so they don't even understand it. They looking at it from all this other goofy shit. You like, come on, my dude, let's get into this. All right, so boom. All right, let me see. Just give me a second. Let me see exactly how I want to do this. All right, so here. So this is, like I said, I was studying with the brother Coda, and he put me on this right here. This is powerful right here. This is in the Bouvier's dictionary, right? So you see the word Indian, right? The word Indian, it say the Aborigines of the country are so-called, okay? It's the word Indians. The Aborigines of the country are so-called. All right, now look, what did we get a senator to call us? Check this out. We already know, but we got to go back into this shit. You have to go back into it because it's like, you know, I'm gonna play it from PBS. Let me play it from this one.
When I was reading to prepare for this interview, I was quite surprised to see you use the word Aborigines talking about African Americans. You know, I've dealt with that issue. I've already,
he said that.
Look, about that.
My purpose in the article, you know what it said? It said they are Aborigines, but not Indians, right? This is what it said in the article. See, a lot of people don't look at the article that he also put. He said we Aborigines. He said, but we're not Indians. But they know we're not Indians. They never really called us Indians. They called us Aborigines. That's why. That's the reason why he said we're not Indian, because he know we're not Indian. He know that word Indian is a motherfucking oxymoron. The Doom Devices clearly states what? Saracens and pagans. Pagans are seen as unbelievers of their gods, man. So if you don't believe in their gods, you're seen as an ungodly person. Even though that when they came here, they say that we have more spiritual system than they had. You know what I'm saying? When they came here, and I'm gonna go into some other things, right? Check it out, right? This is Senator Scott Beeson. I don't know if he's still a senator of Alabama, but shit.
Here today to say that I'm very sorry, and I apologize to anyone whose feelings were hurt by my comment.
I've made very, very clear I don't know where that comment comes from.
Well, from your matches.
Well, I guess. I mean, it's not even a normal thing anyone would say, even if you meant something in a negative fashion. I don't know if you would pull that out. But for me personally,
look,
you can't just...
So look, check this out. The Most High made him say that shit. How many of us acknowledge that he called us Aborigines? Because they never called the Doom Devisers, never said nothing about no damn Indians. Indian means an ungodly person. That's all it means. It don't even mean no motherfucking you part. We wasn't even part of this shit that they got you thinking that this fantasy land, that these tribes on these fucking reservations got you thinking and shit. Like that shit is some fantasy shit that they got you thinking. The real research you gotta do out. You gotta put together and figure this shit out yourself. You gotta figure this. You can't go off of that shit that they doing in these tribes, man. That's why I refuse to be. I don't give a fuck, yo. And like I said, man, shout out to the brothers who are part of the tribe that's doing something. But that's not my cup of tea, man. I could be a nation within myself. I don't have to be part of none of these tribes. B, that's not happening like that. It's not happening like that. I'm a motherfucking. You want to say original or Aborigine? That's it. Do we claim the word Indian? Yeah, we do. We claim that. We claim to be that too. That's for recognize. That's for the recognize you. Do I say I'm black? Yeah, I would say that amongst people who don't know that what the word of Tantan or Aborigine means to get their attention. Yeah, I'm you, but this is also what I am. I'm this. Well, hold up. I'm you. I'm not that. This is what I really am. I have to go under that classification until I redress it or I proclaim what I want myself to be, or who I want to attach myself to, cultural or my ancestors. All right. So you see in Bouvier Dictionary, you see the word Aborigines of the country are so called. The senator called us Aborigines. He said, but you're not Indians, okay? Because they know they never called us. If he calling you Aborigine and know you're not an Indian, the Doom Devisers never said nothing about it. Saracens and pagans, non-believers. They came here first. Boop. Oh, these are the Aborigines. Oh, boop. What did the Aborigines look like? Oh, boop. Oh, okay. I get it. So let's go into something else. All right. All right, here. This is another thing that the brother showed me that I definitely needed, man. This is eye pumps. All right. So this is the 1860 census instructions to the marshals. All right, so this is the instructions they had. Now check this shit out, y'all. Check this shit. I don't know how many of y'all be on the brother. Check the brother his podcast or what? I mean his locally classes, man. But this is some shit I love. Check this shit out. All right, so look, you get down to number 5 right here. Right now, remember this is the census. Remember now, check this out. This is part of what you don't understand, right? Listen to this, right? Indians, right here, number 5. I'm gonna highlight it so you guys can see it. See this right here? It says Indians, not taxed, or not to be enumerated. Enumerated means counted. The families of the Indians who have renounced. Listen, the family of the Indians who have renounced. The family of the Indians who have renounced. Renounced. Check it out. The family of the Indians who have renounced their tribal rule, who are under state or territory laws, exercise the right of citizens, are to be enumerated in such cases. Right. IND opposite their name in a column 6 under the heading colored. Boom! There you go, right there. That's it, right there. That's everything. And how many people Say they Indians, everybody. So you renounce your tribal rule to be under citizen. But check this out though. Remember this though. You had assistance too. Listen to this. You had assistance to help you do this. But check this out. Remember this. All right. Remember that you had assistance in helping you. So it wasn't by it was by force. Check this out. All right. Now say even this limit grant the whiteness had a pernicious long-term consequence for Indians. Although the ideology of robbing granted freedom to slaves who could prove native ancestry. It also suggested that Indians, unlike blacks, were close enough to whites to be assimilated. Now, he gonna stop. He gonna say Anglo-Americans enacted this dogma. I mean, they the one who created this shit along with everything else they created and lied to you about. So he's saying, now look, he's saying in the book, Anglo-Americans enacted this dogma. Okay? Enacted this dogma. So that means they taught you this bullshit that they wanted you to know by attempting to erase the distinct Indian identity, which they did. Now remember, we're not Indians, but for the sake of who they talking about, we're going to use the word. We know it. We're not Aborigines neither, but for the sake of them and the doctrine of discovery and everything else that they call us, we are the people who you place that term upon. That term might not apply to me, but it applies to me. You placed it upon me, so now I can't even date my name back to find out who the fuck I am. So that right there is genocide of itself. You have no history of your creed, of your culture. That's what makes you 3/5 of a person. And check this out. Now look, the primarily agent in this policy was the federal government, who sought for most of American history to force Indians to conform to conventional white culture. Now, what did it tell you right here? So you could be an Indian, but it's not according to them, you're colored. You might think you're an Indian. Your grandmother might have said you were an Indian, but you are to be taxed because you are part of state and territory laws, and you exercise the rights of citizens. So that's the reason why you enumerate. Okay, and you're also placed under their status, which they put you under column C, as colored, you dummies. Now listen to this. These are all these dummies that they talk on all this, oh, well, my ancestors was born. I don't even need to pull the numbers up on sleep, but I might just do the shit just for the hell of it. I ain't got enough time to pull up all the shit I got that I want to do to connect it. But we know we can start from the pink watch. We can show you pictures of modern day pink watch. We can show you, we can also show you that there was already Negroes in the Caribbean. So you're lying to us about you saying you brought all these Africans to a country that was already occupied by Negroes who look just like them. You lied about that. Then you're telling us, well, you're bringing the people from the Caribbean who are Africans into America and got us thinking that these people are Africans when most of the time, a lot of these people are people who bought back from these plantations, which they got over there. That's like you working at a job site in fucking in Las Vegas, and then they send you back to where you from or whatever. And that's all that shit was. When you really look at this shit, you like, hold up, man, this shit don't make no sense, what they're saying. But this is what they're doing. See, the big secret is that it was black people in America. The Southern Indians are now classified as colored and Negro. That's the big secret. It's not so fact that they were Africans. The African story sound fucking weak compared to the fact that they came and took the land and made you classify. Now look, what they're telling you is telling you Indians not to be taxed. So they didn't even know. But the Indians, but check this out too, right? The Indians who was taxed, right? You got to think of this too, was also the fucking farmers. They was the damn farmers. They was the people who was working for them. Them was the people who was taxed. The people, the farmers, the gardeners, these people with these names that are positions or whatever. And them was the people who was taxed. They was never fucking slaves. The Indians who they allowed to be Indians were people who was their allies. But a lot of the people who was working for them under the fact that they were farms and they was small family gardens or clan gardens, then it started to be farms, then it started to be plantations. Okay? To where it could feed massive people and be able to move the shit out. You think nigga talking about cotton? What, are you out of your fucking mind? They talking about cotton. It wasn't just no fucking cotton. They was taking birds, gold, silver, copper, fucking all of the fruits and shit that they found in the Caribbean, along with all of the shit that they found in the South. Now that's what the fuck they wasn't just taking no damn cotton. It wasn't just no fucking cotton. They want you to believe it was just cotton. It was well more than just cotton. It was everything, just like they do now. They will fucking market every nick and cranny that they can, every fucking thing, and they got multi-marketings of the same fucking thing. That's all under capitalism. They come here, they find shit, they dig up the mouths, take gold out of it, and they don't see you. They ain't told. They don't know about this shit. Or maybe they know about it and they not talking about it. But that's the real crime. The real crime would be asking a simple question of, well, how did your ancestors get here? Who invited your ancestors? And your ancestors came here under the same kind. They trying to make it seem like it's a nice story until you really start reading. Oh, white settlers did this. Oh shit, all right. I got an article on that too. We're gonna read in a minute. Hold up. Let's continue, right? Check this out. Hold up. Because you gotta pull a lot of this shit up because people keep forgetting. Okay? Indians, not taxed, are to be enumerated, meaning the people who work for them. The families of Indians, and then the other people who didn't have jobs or who was abandoned off their property was the people who they was fucking enslaving, dude. Because a lot of times you gotta think about this shit. Think about this shit, right? So a lot of the Indians that was working for them that was enumerated, then they reclassified them as they wanted to. Then the other Indians that wasn't working was put in bondage, which is a term of servitude, which they was classified as Negroes because they got that practice from the Caribbean. When they went to the Caribbean, they seen the Spanish was calling these black people Negroes. That's the reason why they like, oh shit, the Negroes in America look just like the Negroes in the Caribbean. That's why they call Indian Negroes. Why else would they call an Indian a Negro? We know what the fuck a Negro is. So why would they call an Indian a Negro? And then on the fact that you got them calling you colored, they telling you right here. It's right here. You don't even need to look no further than this one definition. But we got more facts to put to it. Look, the Indians not to be taxed are not to be enumerated. The families of Indians who have renounced, what did your grandmother say you was? That have you renounced the tribal rule? It say, and under state or territory laws, exercise the rights of citizens are enumerated. So if you exercise the rights of citizens, then you're going to be put on their motherfucking census. Okay? Now look, what you were saying, column 6, you're classified as colored. That's the reason why they changing the classifications to remember that, to where you don't remember that you was classified as colored and you find out, hold up, the Indians classified as colored too. Oh shit, my family said we was Indians. So that automatically tied me back to the land. I ain't never gotta bring up the African part in you. Never, because it's irrelevant. You enslaved more Indians than you did Africans, so it's irrelevant. I don't never even have to bring up anything you think that's it. We don't look, like I said. The word Negro has been exaggerated throughout history and throughout the last 100 years. They're making you believe the word Negro is applied to African slaves, which all these people who were just talking on this forum kept saying. And none of them say, hold up, man. We got documentation, okay? We got documentation. They're telling you, so all them black people that's in Brazil, they bought it. All them black people that's in the Caribbean, they bought it. All them black people that's in Central and South America, they bought it. All the black people in North America. So they're responsible for bringing all these black people here, which at this point in time is over. Listen, the black people throughout the Americas got to exceed over 400 million people by now. So you brought 12 million people here from 1400s until now, 500 years later, it's almost a fucking 500 million people here. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. And with the exception of how many people they actually killed here. Because they ain't even, if you read about the Devil Punch Bowl, which we're about to get into, because they saying that they ain't got nothing to do with none of this stuff. This is all shit that was done by the U.S. Now look, what did it say right here? Now look, we can also go here too. Look, boom, what do we got? 1818. Andrew Jackson pondered the Indian question and concluded that one or two things must be done with the Indians. Either them sons of the forest should be mortalized or exterminated. What is they keep telling you that they gonna bring more schools? We don't need no more of your fucking schools. We need to get our sense and create our own schools. So you need resources to do that. They keep on trying, whatever they keep on trying to get you to talk about this reparation shit, is always to buy back into their system so you'll be more of a consumer again, as opposed, you're gonna be a consumer however you put it, whether they give you the money or whether they give you whatever, but you can also be you don't have to be the consumer, because if you get land, you can build shit on your land and be the motherfucking owner. So you can be the employee. And the same thing with everything else. But at the end of the day, these people is lost. You better off doing your own motherfucking, your own suit or whatever, trying to get a redress of grievances, because these people lost. And part of the fact that you asked for the redress of grievances is everything that they said, which a lot of them was right, with the exception that we could take the word African and put the word Aborigine in there. A lot of stuff that they were saying was correct. Okay, whether we know that if it was scripted to go that way, to say all that shit, and then so they can sit there and say, all right, well, we're part. No. Fuck that. Because you bringing people here from third world countries, and they are out achieving so-called black people, because what you did was you destroyed a generation of people with the assessment. Fuck all that others. Like, okay, the Jim Crow era wasn't worse than the crack era. Put it like that. The crack era was way worse than the Jim Crow era. Put it like that. And niggas will sit there and tell me, no, that's not true. I mean, even though that the Jim Crow era is a different type of, it's a direct racism, and the crack era is a direct racism, but you don't know who the culprits are. It's a chemical warfare. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know who the culprits are. It's the culprit. They told you who the culprits was. You understand what I'm saying? But look, this is a president, a U.S. president right here talking about getting you should be mortalized on your own land or exterminated. You know, so who idea was it to mortalize you? Oh, the white settlers. Oh, why was their idea to mortalize you? Oh, so they can get you to buy into what they were selling, so you wouldn't you would just give your land up like it was nothing. And that's what happened now. And you got these people been talking for you, you know what I'm saying? And they ain't even mentioning the real sickness of it. The real sickness of it. You ain't even say, well, half of us, they never mention that shit. They think that they just bought Africans here, and then the Africans that stayed in a certain area, and then the Indian slave. No. Even if the Indian slaves mix with the Africans, they basically fuck the Africans out of existence. But they telling you, because you're dark skinned, this is the reason why you're not an Indian. But that's why we have to establish that it was Boston people here. You can't keep saying, oh, your grandma, that's the ancestry is wonderful when you need to go ahead and do your suit. But you have to establish it on a historical aspect, a more broader historical aspect, because they not buying. Like I said, you can exercise your rights. You can get your rights according to people I've seen, and you can do certain things. But at the end of the day, the way these people up there doing it, and they deceiving you, and they don't even know the fucking history. They got you believing some bullshit. But look, and I got another article that tells you how Andrew Jackson say that if you give us jurisdiction, you can stay in the South, or if you don't give us jurisdiction, you got to go to Oklahoma. So the ones that stayed in the South was classified as colored, and the small majority of them that went to Oklahoma was able to be an Indian. or whatever. And then you're going to read stuff that other people fled and did other things, all right? So look, another thing. I really missed this the first time this brother played this, right? So let me see something real quick. So we know that Indians are not taxed, are not numerated, okay? Then we know the family of the Indians who renounced their tribal rule are classified as colored. Fuck it, get to the point. The Indians who renounced their tribal rule are classified as colored and to be taxed. Simple and plain. Simple and plain. Simple and plain. Now you just have to add up and you have to come up with a consensus and say, well, hold up. How many Indians was it? Could it be more Indians here than it was Africans? And then you claim you still classify these people. You don't even know who. Like, this the more goofy shit is. This is the more goofy shit is. Okay, so you do find out that the Indians was classified as colored. They always going to try to undermine the number and make the number smaller than the Africans that we brought here. But you can easily destroy it by proving that it was already blacks in the Caribbean. So it was already blacks in the Caribbean. So how do you know that they're Africans? Oh, because we got records. You got records of what? Show me. Show me you got records. Show me you got records from an African country. So matter of fact, show me that the British controlled these countries that they was going to in Africa. Show me that. But you can't show me that. But then they're gonna blame it on Columbus. Oh, Columbus brought Africans here. No, Columbus never said he brought any Africans here neither. So what they got you going off is this. They got you going off of the fact that you think that Columbus brought Africans here. So whether or not they actually brought any Africans here, because you think the people that was brought to the Caribbean were Africans, and that's the reason why you see the people who look like that there. Then you think, oh, they brought these people from the Caribbean into mainlands of North America. So this is the reason why you see people who look like that. That's bullshit. Them people was already there throughout the fucking Caribbean. They was already there. Already. So they killed off all the people. Wasn't nobody on none of them beautiful islands. And the people, oh, it was a small population of these Arawaks. Oh, listen, this is nonsense. Understand what I'm saying? And this is what they're telling you. A small population on this heavily populated island. But did you only get two types of people on there? You get the people who look Negro, and you get the people who we gotta say is mulatto. We got to say that they're mixed. It's a mixture of either the Spanish and the Negro people who was already there. That's it. Because all of them countries, you see the same thing. You go to Cuba, you see either white white Cubans or black Cubans. But the black Cubans came there from Africa, and then the white Cubans are always the ones who brought them there. Okay, the same thing. You go to Puerto Rico. Go to Puerto Rico. You got white Puerto Ricans and you got black Puerto Ricans. The black Puerto Ricans are always the slaves. They was always the slaves. So who was there? Where the Indians at? Then you go to Jamaica. Let's go to Jamaica. Let's go in order because it's Cuba, then Jamaica, then it's DR, then Puerto Rico. So you got Cuba. We already said that. Then you got Jamaica. Now look how Jamaica is. Why in Jamaica there ain't no Spanish like that? You don't see it's not a mixed country like Cuba. Why? And the Spanish was there too. So why? Why? Because I think the Portuguese was also in Cuba too. I think the Portuguese was in Cuba because everywhere the Portuguese went, they was really mixing with the Spanish did it too, but the Portuguese did it a little bit more prevalent, and they still right now encourage that shit right now to today. Okay, so all these countries we went to, we see either white or black. The same thing we see with the tribes here. And with the exception to the Mongoloid tribes, fuck that. We going to Mongoloids and mulattoes, whatever. The Mongoloid, the Asian-looking people that we see running around here with these ridiculous suits on and shit, when the only thing your ass wore was a motherfucking feather crown and a grass skirt. That's it. And maybe a feather occasionally, and maybe some armbands and some wristbands with some gold and gold chain on. That's what we was wearing, my dude. So if you don't go there looking like Mr. T, if you don't go to the powwow looking like Mr. T, then it don't make no fucking sense to even go there. You go to the powwow, big ass chain on, bare shirt, motherfucking wristbands on, your motherfucking grass skirt on or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And a few feathers, and bam, I'm the Aborigine. You niggas is clowns. I'm the Aborigine. Look, this is the first Indians that they seen. Look, this is in Virginia. Are you related to these people? Because these people ain't got, we don't see none of the images that I show you. None of these people walking around with big ass feathers on and going, oh, you don't see none of that shit. You don't see nothing, but you got niggas out here claiming to be these part of these tribes and shit, running around. Nah, I'm not falling. Like I said, I'm distancing myself. I'm cutting myself off from all these other Aborigines who got problems with what's going on. Listen, if you want to be part of them tribes, keep that shit over there. I'm trying to waken up the black Indians who don't know who they are. And by them looking on them tribes, seeing them Mongoloids on there, knowing damn well they got no Mongoloids in their family, is only going to put more doubt in their brain that they're not that. They're not that. So I don't care how nobody feel no more, or any of the rhetoric that comes towards me. Oh man, you know, we don't the time. Well, peace, adios. See you later. Go over there, go on them powwows with them fucking weirdos and run around, go, oh, no, damn well you off beat. You can't even fuck around with it. And keep on fighting for them fucking Mongoloids who don't fight for us, motherfuckers. Keep fighting for them people. So we're all the same. Okay, take that over there. I'm not that type of, I'm a Negro Indian. My people look like 50 Cent, look like Mr. T, look like fucking Wesley Snipes, look like fucking all these other, them what my people look like. And them are the people who've been oppressed. I don't want to hear none of that other shit, man. I don't want to hear none of that other shit going forward, because that's the seriousness of this whole shit. Because people up there representing you, when you got people telling you who you are, you got people telling you who you are. Okay, I'm gonna play another quick video. I want y'all to check this out. It's only a minute though. This is y'all heard this a million times, but guess what? It's passed over your head. Check this out. Let me show you something. So look, check this out. Let me see something. I want to show y'all something real quick. That flew over niggas' heads. Shit flew right over your motherfucking head. Nigga ain't even here. Let's just look. We got a bunch of pictures up here, right? So this is what they consider to be a Mars, right? Would this be a Mars? Let me ask y'all a question in the chat room. I need a direct answer quick too. All right, so I'm showing you pictures of the Nation of Islam. They are part of the Mars, right? Look, listen, just press 1. If the Nation of Islam are part of a Mars, right? They go to a Mars for their meeting, right? We agree on that the Nation of Islam go to a Mars to have their meetings, or when Farrakhan speak, that's a Mars, right? All right, so look, listen to what Night Wolf said to him. And this shit skipped over his head, and he sat there looking goofy too. Look, check this out.
Eat. And we gotta eat. And we gotta provide food for our family, a future for them. And we can't be afraid to step up to what is demanded of us by God, to defend the life that He gave us and to pass on to our children a better life, even on our death.
You know what, brother?
Listen what he's saying. Listen what he's about to say.
If you were to walk into any mosque in America and you just laid your hands on the first person or the third person or the fifth person that you see, you realize that you're laying your hands on a Native American.
You heard what the fuck he just said, right? So look, so that means in this mosque, how many people he said? Look, listen to what he said. Listen to what he said. This is a fucking nigga. This is a Native American telling this nigga to his fucking face that if he go into any mosque in America, he could put his hand on any person in there that they're Native American. And this shit I have never heard nobody mention that before. I've never heard anybody. I've heard him say that, and then people say, all right, well, he telling you every 4. No. He said, put your hand on every person in there, and then look, I'm gonna play it again.
In America, if you were to walk into any mosque in America and you just laid your hands on the first person or the third person or the fifth person that you see, you realize that you're laying your hands on a Native American?
I believe. Look,
there were only 8% of the slaves that came to America. So how is it that there's so many more people that they claim are black or African American? I think they got the numbers wrong, because a lot of Native Americans are the ones that they're counting as black folks too.
Well, we're really one.
Yeah.
see, look. See, look. See, he want to say we're really one. So that's agent talk. And like I'm not like I said, I fuck with Farrakhan to a certain point. But this man gets said right here, if you go to a mosque, now I'm gonna pull up numerous pictures of a mosque. So that means brother Ben X right here, he's part of a mosque, then he will be Indian. That means all these brothers right here is Indians then, right? Is that not what he gets said? Is that not what he gets said? Did he not just say that if you go into any mosque and put your hand on the first, second, third, fourth, fifth person, that they will be a Native American, right? He did just say that, right? He said, cool. But I'm just saying, we know that they Indians, but we speaking, hopefully somebody who watched this video can sit here and say, well, hold on, this got something to do with reparations, and watch the whole shit and get a greater understanding to what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? So now, and this is an old clip right here. This is some old shit that many people got on their videos. We have watched this along with the senator in Alabama say that. But one thing we do know that they get said that the Indians here are fucking Aborigines, and black people say that they got Indians in them. So that makes us Aborigines, because we are not the same as them people on them fucking reservations. I don't not give a fuck how nobody feel, what you may think. We're not the same people. We're not the same people. It ain't no Mongoloid. A Mongoloid might have mixed with a black person one time, but none of our people look like that. None of our people look like that. So we know that we are different. We are different. We got different hair. Hair does matter, because, all right, well, either their hair is real or our hair is fake. Either or. Which one is it? You tell me, which one is it? Either their hair is real, that straight hair, or your hair is fake. Or either if they brought Africans here, or the Mongoloids are the real people. Which one? There's no in between. The white man wasn't here. You're saying that it was people in a different area where the Mongoloids wasn't. So where are these people at that was in this area where the Mongoloids wasn't? Only people I know of are people in the South, right? But what did we just hear? Let's walk back through this. So this is a book, Making the Indian White. The primary agent in the policy was the federal government, who sought for most of American history to force Indians to conform to convention of white culture. The results of the tribes were disastrous, eroding sovereignty and cultural identity. What did we just say? What did they just tell you that the Indians that was to be tax classified as? Colored. So this enumerated this destroyed your cultural identity. Okay, now look, let's go back into see some other shit. Wait, let me see something. So even here, well, no, I ain't gonna go there. All right. So look, so boom. All right. Let me see something. All right. I might have just closed that shit out. Let me see something. Did I close it out? Ah, shit. Close this shit out. Hold up, my bad. I'm looking for something. Oh, Jake, so it's just to get the people, the Europeans who forgot what happened when they got here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to read this article just for the sake of that. All right. This called American History and New World Clashes of Cultures. I read this a couple of times, but this just to give you a brief understanding to what they seem to be forgetting, right? So, all right, so let's say from VOA learning English. This is the making of a nation, American history in special English. And his book name is Steve Eber. Okay, so all right, so let me see something. All right, so it's the first recorded meeting between Europeans and Indians of the East took place about 1500s. Fishermen from France and Basque area of Spain crossed the Atlantic Ocean. They hunted for whales along the east coast of North America. They're saying they set up a camp and often traded with local Indians. All right, so this is what they're saying, this is giving you a description of somehow they may think, or maybe that might be the truth, because they traded with us. But when you started seeing all these other people came, this is when the problem is. So look, the Europeans often paid Indians to work for them. How do we know they paid Indians to work for them? Let me see something. Oh, hold up. How do we know they paid Indians to work for them? Let's see something. How can we prove this, right? Easy. We can easily prove this. Let me show you something. Let's see. Because these are all Indians right here. These are not Africans. These are all Indians right here. And if you don't believe it, this is the Indian right here. See this? Virginia tobacco, 1740 to 1916. See this? This is what the Virginia Indians wore. So, I mean, unless you are slow or you don't understand. So this is a Virginia Indian, and bam, this is what they kept. And they got this actual in the Virginia Historical Society. So if a Virginia Indian look like this, and this is an actual compository of or a picture of them, then this is a fucking Negro right there. What part don't you understand? What part don't these idiots understand? The Indians work for the colonists. This is the reason why they put you under the classification of colored, because they assume you to be one of theirs. Assume assimilation. What did they tell you? Now we're gonna go further with this. Because this shit is just easy to understand. Now look, this is one more common picture that people put up there. Let me show you the more common one. Hold up. Look, just for anybody who might got it fucked up. Look, see this? Virginia, okay? These are all black people. You see the people? You see them working in the back with the same skirts on, working? These are all fucking Indians working for these people. So these are not Africans. These are Indians, man. But you stupid motherfuckers don't understand. Look, more black Indians. Look, they took to London. Look, Virginia, there you go right there. Look, these are Indians. These are not no motherfucking Africans. So I don't know why people don't seem to understand what's going on, but these are motherfucking Indians, okay? These are not Africans. Look, these are more, you see the peace pipe in his mouth? He's working, they're working. They're fucking working, you dumb fucks. You thinking these fucking people are slaves, man. Now look. Hold up. The Europeans often pay Indians to work for them, which we just seen that in the pictures. Both groups found this relationship to be successful. On several occasions, different groups of fishermen tried to establish a permanent settlement on the coast. Severe winter, however, made it impossible, so their camps were only temporary. The first permanent European settlers in New England began arriving in around 1620, which we know was earlier than that. But for that sake, we keep it 1620, all right? When they tried to establish one in 1580 and shit didn't work and the whole colony was wiped out. Now look, they came back in 1604, 1605, and that's when they kidnapped Pocahontas and Utah. And then once they came back, the war started. When they came back, it was on site with them. That's why they not telling you. That's why they not telling you, because they was already trading these people with guns. So a lot of these tribes had guns already at this point in time. So it was already on site. That's the reason why they made all the laws saying Indians and Negroes not to have guns, because they was warring with them. This is their history. I haven't wrote none of this stuff. I haven't put an article out there. Every article I read is information that I get from people who put it out there. But it seems to me that the people who's supposed to be so educated that speak up for you seems to not mention none of this stuff. So let's continue. All right, so they needed to trade with them for food. Who was they said the farmers was? Us. That's why we was working for them. The settlers also knew that because they were so few in numbers, a battle with the Indians will result in a quick defeat. Okay? It said, yet problems begin almost immediately. Perhaps the most serious was the difference in the way the Indians and the European thought about the land. It's saying this difference created problems that would not be solved during the next several hundred years. Owning land was extremely important to European settlers. So all the people up there, either they came with these people or they came here in the 1900s. Pick a choice. Any which way they came here, they are not indigenous to this land, and they got here by the means of everything that I'm reading right here. So for them to say that the people are, no, you benefited from everything that your people did because you here on the land and you ruling the land. So you benefited from it, and you are the same people who are denying everything that you did, or you saying your ancestors did, the same way we claiming to get ours for our ancestors, same way you should be saying, all right, well, my ancestors did do that. But these people don't want to even acknowledge that their ancestors had anything to do with this shit. They don't want to acknowledge none of this shit. They get saying, well, fuck it. Even after all that shit, like I said, I don't even like none of them people up there. Cory Booker was the mayor of my city, or whatever. And, you know, I ain't gonna front. He did an okay job, but he bought a lot of these corporations. And also he also has a was a Rhodes Scholar. Allegedly, he was a Rhodes Scholar. We know who Cecil Rhodes was. Oh, why would you take money from an individual such as Cecil Rhodes to go to school? I don't give a fuck who. I don't give a fuck what you. That's like a Jew taking money from Hitler. You know what I'm saying? That's like that. I mean, according to their history. Why would you take money from Cecil Rhodes to go to school is the question. The Rhodes Scholar is Cecil Rhodes Scholarship. Okay? Even after all the shit you can pull up on them, they got a scholar at them and they give it to prestigious people. And you can pull this shit up. Okay? So look, what did they say was extremely important to the Europeans? Owning land. In England, most other countries, land meant wealth. Owning large amounts of land meant that a person had great wealth and political power. Hold up, I'm not going no further. This is a heavyweight jam, man. How many likes I got, man? Yo, could you give me some more likes, please, man? God damn it! Like, come on, man. Like, for real, bro. Like, I mean, come on, man. And definitely support culture freedom, hidden cultures of America, Black Indians, man. Support that. Support my t-shirt spring. Go there and cop an Aborigine t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? Don't be shy, man. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and get rid of them fucking Andrew Jacksons you got in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and get rid of them. Like I said, the only way you bring awareness to this is by doing research, by going to people, talking to people, and you showing that this shit is not scripted. These is people saying they're fucking Indians, man. You know what I'm saying? And real quick too, man, shout out to the brothers who did sent me a donation. Let me see, hold up. S.O. I don't want, I don't say your name. I only break your name. But I'm going to say Mr. O'Neill, thank you for the $50 donation. And Mr. Brown, thank you for the $19 donation, man. I mean, $20 donation. Mr. Brown always donate. Shout out to that brother, man. Thank you very much. And like I said, man, if you can't donate, man, send me a video. You guys are all across America, and you're in different parts. If you're in the South, send me 10 videos of people in the South. You recording, asking them how did they know that they was Indians. Just send me 10 videos. Somebody in Florida, somebody in Tennessee, somebody in Oklahoma, somebody anywhere where there's a population of Black Americans, of people who believe they were descendant of slaves or think they're Indians. Send me 10 videos. Send me 10 videos. I can't put them all in this one because I got a bunch of shit already. But matter of fact, no matter of fact, you know what? I will put them in this because I only got people far as from New Jersey. Like I said, I'm going to make a trip in next month to North Carolina to finish this. But in the most part, when I go through there, I'm going to be interviewing people. When I go, I'm going to stop in Delaware and see if I can find me some people. I'm going to stop in Virginia. Then I'm stopping in South Carolina, North Carolina. And then I can just do random people. I can come up, I can gather data by me doing the travels, but a lot of you guys are already out there. So if you can't donate, at least donate a little bit of time towards putting something out there for your people at the most part. Because yeah, these videos is nice though, but you hear the people who speaking up for you. You might not even want you might just want land and just be left the fuck alone or whatever. But I'm reading to you what's going on. So, like I said, man, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Definitely. Where was we at? We was right here. All right, so boom. So what was important? Owning the land. All right, so it say many settlers who came to North America could never have owned land back in Europe. They were too poor. Okay, so now these people who got this wealth passed down to them are what? They are descendants of many settlers who came to North America, could never own land back in Europe. They were too poor, and they belonged to a religious minority. When they arrived in the New World, they discovered that no one seemed to own the land a huge amount. No one seemed to own the huge amounts of land. Now look, here we go. Companies in England needed to find people willing to settle in North America. So they offered land to anyone who would take the chance to cross the Atlantic. For many, it was a dream come true. It was a way to improve their life. The land gave the European settlers a chance to become wealthy and powerful. Now look, what did we see? So you got all these people speaking for you. Look, she said her family owned slaves. Now look, check this out. Look.
And with that, in the need for repair or reparative action, which can and should take many, many forms. I express wholehearted support for HR 40. And I've met countless people of all backgrounds who believe in this form of national effort as well. I know there are many who strenuously object to the premise that we need this reckoning. The pushback I hear most often is, that's your problem given your ancestors, but it has nothing to do with me.
Look.
It's understandable that people distance themselves. I'll focus on two reasons.
Look.
One, most of us learned a distorted history of slavery in school.
Look.
So as white Americans, most of us don't realize our connection to.
Now, what did you learn in school, y'all? A distorted fucking history, right? But guess what, though? You know, when you come here, you're going to learn the truth because you're going to find out that they enslaved or they're telling you that they enslaved Indians. And even if enslavement wasn't what we believe it was, maybe the people that they're showing us was just prisoners of war or people who fought back, which we would assume that most of our ancestors would fight back. The ones that assimilated, we would look at as fucking weaklings. Okay? So the ones that was prisoners of war would be the ones you would say, well, hold up, why was they prisoners of war and the other one wasn't? You understand what I'm saying? But listen, we're going to keep it going, though. Listen what I just told you, what I just read in the article. Now, look.
Good. Second, there's a natural instinct to avoid that which can bring feelings of shame about our people, about the country that we love.
Look.
To address the first issue, here's a quick rundown of historical facts I had not been taught. That the North was deeply implicated, that slavery was legal in northern states for over 200 years, that Northerners up and down the economic spectrum made their livings in businesses tied to slave trade and slavery, that Northern mills processed cotton harvested by enslaved people. The Midwest and the West were implicated, They grew food to feed the South, where land was devoted to cash crops
Now,
like cotton.
hold up. She said the Midwest and the West. She ain't say nothing about the South. So she skipped over the whole fucking South and just went right into the Native American, the fake Mongoloid, the Midwest. Anytime you hear the Midwest, they talking about them, the Mongoloid. Okay, she skipped right. We was the farmers here, right? Don't hold up. Let's go to something else. Let's see something else. So look, what did it say right here? Look. But hold up. I'm gonna play this and I'm gonna show you something. Look.
Harvested by the enslaved. That's your problem, given your ancestors, but it has nothing to do with me. It's understandable that people distance themselves. I'll focus on two reasons. One, most of us learned a distorted history of slavery in school. So as white Americans, most of us don't realize our connection to it. Second, there's a natural instinct to avoid that which can bring feelings of shame about our people, about the country that we love. To address the first issue, here's a quick rundown of historical facts I had not been taught. That the North was deeply implicated, that slavery was legal in northern states for over 200 years, that Northerners up and down the economic spectrum made their livings in businesses tied to slave trade and slavery, that Northern mills processed cotton harvested by enslaved people. The Midwest and the West were implicated. They grew food to feed the South.
Stop lying. They grew free food to feed the South. How the fuck they grow food in the Midwest to feed the fucking South? Stop lying. In the late 18th and early 19th century, this attempt consistently largely of civilization policies and a concert effort to turn tribes away from their traditional economy and convert them into sedentary farmers. Sedentary means a person who don't get much movement or a person who is not moving around much. You understand what I'm saying? It's saying on the 1887 Dawes Act forcefully imposed this goal on Indians living on reservations. That's a whole nother thing though. But remember, who was the farmers? Who was the farmers? What did I show you? Look at the images. Look. What do they got in their hand? The fucking hoe. Look. See this? They got a hoe. Look. These are the fucking Indians right. These are the farmers right here, my dude. Look. What do you see? You see Indians farming. You see Indians farming. These are not slaves. These are people who was working for them, man, at first, man. Like I said, and then it led to other things because they didn't want to give up the land like that. We was looking like, nah, man, what the fuck you mean? Like, you niggas come in here taking the land. So every time you see them, either in this picture right here, these are Indians. These are Indians too. Or you see them in any of these other pictures, they're all Indians, man. They are not no fucking Africans, man. And how we know? Look. These are other pictures of what the Indians got the same fuck. This is in Virginia. Look. Now look, they calling him a black boy. Look what they calling him. Look what they calling him. They calling him a black boy, right? But check this out. We got that too. Hold up. Let me see something. See, these is what I go off of. I don't go off them pictures, man, because them pictures is like, you know, they showing you people who are not the same people that was here. You have to look at this right here, man. This is in Virginia. This is what the damn Indians looked at like. But a motherfucker will simply tell you, they will sit there and tell you that, let me see, let me find that other picture that a lot of people like to use. Look. Just so happened you enslaved the Indians. And like I said, this tells you right here, just imported from the West Indies. All right, it's saying imported from the West Indies. My dude, don't say nothing about no Africa here. This one say he spent time. It say he spent several years at Havana. Okay, now I don't know if Havana here in North America, which no, Havana is saying Savannah. All right, now look, this right here says just imported from the West Indies. Okay. It's saying 10 likely Gold Coast new Negroes, okay? So they saying just imported from the West Indies. What did the West Indies call? And now look, check this out. It say to prevent their receiving the infection of smallpox, they have been kept, it say constantly on board, something is saying since their arrival. It's saying that where they will be, I guess, sold, it's saying any something, whatever. So a private, whatever. But it's saying just imported from the West Indies. It don't say nothing about they came from Africa. It's saying that they bringing people from the West Indies and bringing them to America. And you think because they're called Negro, the Spanish called them Negroes. That's it. It was already Negroes there. The Spanish called, when they came in, they called these people Negroes. They did not bring no Africans here and call them. No, the people of the land, they already called Negroes. And they get transporting people back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They ain't gotta go to no. And the French doing the same shit. The French going down to Mississippi, going out to the Caribbean, and taking people to the island of Espanol, which is fucking Haiti. And people don't seem to understand this shit. Because if you don't recognize that it's already black people here, then you're never going to understand. Look at the Seminole Indians. Oh, you got black Seminoles in you. So you telling me, so the Seminole Indians have all black white wives? So they didn't mix with nobody neither, and they still look as black as they look. Fuck out, they're lying. They're lying about a lot of shit. And like I said, man, this whole shit, like I said, what the lady talking about is like I said, they're all bullshit. Now look, check this out. Let's see if we can find that other picture right here. They got more pictures. Now all you got to do is look at this. This is Virginia. This is where the fuck it started at. So if the people in Virginia looked at like this, then the people through North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, everything, I don't have to use none of those pictures that they got from the 1800s. I don't never have to use none of them. Never. I don't never have to use none. This is a fucking Negro. I don't never have to use none of them images. We got enough drawings to show you where the people where we're from, what they look like. You understand? Well, let's get back to it.
Where land was devoted to cash crops like cotton, harvested by the enslaved. Consumers throughout the country were implicated in their everyday purchases of clothing, coffee, sugar, rice, tobacco. People who immigrated from Europe after slavery were implicated. I have Irish, French, and German immigrant ancestors who came to the United States in the 19th century, worked in factories, struggled, but they were given access to the American dream.
See?
Why were waves of immigrants flocking here?
Look, listen.
Because it was the land of opportunity.
Look.
Why was the economy booming? Why were there jobs?
Look, listen.
Because it had been built largely on unpaid labor.
But that's not that though. That's not that though. It was built largely because you built it. And then what happened when the economical system fell after they started moving all the jobs over to the fucking overseas, then the economy collapsed again, and then they bought drugs in, and through the sell of fucking drugs is what built this economy back up. And that's people dying, the crackhead in the motherfucking in the corner, see part of the economic boom. Your ancestors who might have smoked crack or might have been on drugs because they might have been systematically oppressed because they grew up without a father who might have died, who went to war for Vietnam, or who might have died from other reasons, street violence of other people being oppressed. It's all a systematic thing. It's all a snowball that rolls down a hill and get turned into a fucking giant boulder. You know what I'm saying? And it's a bunch of different underlying causes that basically is contributed to everything that they're saying. Even through education ain't gonna work. You got motherfucking niggas who smart as hell who still fucking nuts. You don't know what kind of chemicals and shit that they put in this water that's making these niggas activate and turn crazy like this. You don't even know because motherfuckers do crazy shit for real. And they don't even, anytime you do some shit, you don't think about it. I mean, you ain't always there. You ain't conscious. Because part of being conscious means to be able to look at things subconsciously and unconsciously. You're supposed to be able to weigh this shit out. A lot of people don't think like that. But like I said, remember, it said, on the other hand, it said, all right, hold up. Let me see. What was that? Remember what she said. We're going to rock with what she said. I'll read this. All right. So it's saying the American Indians lived in nature. They understood the land and the environment. They did not try to change it. What they trying to change? They saying they might grow crops in the area for a few years, then they will move on. They're saying they will allow the land on which they have farmed to become wild again. Now listen, it said they might hunt in the area on land for some time, but again they would move on. It's saying now that's not true. That's not true. We probably moved on. We probably had certain areas where we would move, or certain we had certain things you could eat, because certain people was eating like wild deer and all the other things, and then certain times you wouldn't eat no meat. You would just eat straight vegetarian, and then certain time where you would eat fish or sea life or whatever. All right, and, so it's saying that the animals could populate and continue to increase. The Indians understood nature and were at peace with it. The first Europeans to settle, we said settled around New England area, which she's telling you how people from, is saying of the Northeast. It's saying wanted land. The Indians did not fear them. There were not many settlers, and there was enough land for everyone to use to plant the crops. It was easy to live together. The Indians helped the settlers by teaching them how to plant crops and survive on land. Listen, it said, but the Indians did not understand that the settlers was going to keep the land. This idea was foreign to the Indians. It's saying to them, it was like trying to own air or clouds. It's saying as the years passed, more and more settlers arrived. What's he saying? Look.
Once here, European immigrants got to systematically leapfrog over Black families with devastating consequences up to the present day. So slavery built the nation. It turning us into an economic powerhouse, due mostly to, I must say, good folk who participated in mundane ways and looked the other way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now for the second big reason for pushback against this bill, the emotions that it stirs up. And I'd speak directly to my fellow white Americans on this. First, fear not. Though it's counterintuitive, I've seen over and over again the liberating power of facing this painful past. Second, white people tend to imagine that Black people are angry at us. But in my experience, Black Americans don't blame us for the deeds of bygone ancestors, but are rightfully angry that we don't just drop the defensiveness or the self-absorbed guilt and sign up to work with them shoulder to shoulder to tackle the legacies that are still with us. Third, when we let go of defensiveness or guilt, we can get to a healthy and shared grief, which opens the door to sober, sacred, respectful, creative, collective conversation about how to make things right. There are scores of organizations that are already able to attest to this, the power of this work.
A bunch of federal shit.
I know. The process that a commission would help the country embark upon could be a transformative, positive, and life-giving thing for the country as a whole. A beautiful thing. It is good for the soul of a person, a people, and of a nation to set things right. Thank you.
All right, so what did it say? Now, look, what did it just say? All right, now look, let me see something. So we know that we taught them how to crop. We thought only a few of them were going to come here. And said, but the Indians did not understand that the settlers was going to keep the land. This idea was foreign to the Indians. And say to them, it was trying to own air or the clouds, which they're doing too. Like I said, which they're doing too. Okay, you European motherfucker, not nobody. This you the Dr. Mind-bending diabolical person who doing this, who moving clouds around through fucking aluminum and like a fucking joystick and shit, right? So another problem between the settlers and the Indians involved religion. The settlers in New England thought Christianity was the one true faith, okay? The one true faith, and that all people should believe in it. It's saying they soon learned that the Indians were satisfied with their own spiritual belief and were not interested in changing them. All right, so they remember the word Indian means heathen. It doesn't mean they knew they wasn't. Don't give me that shit that they knew they was in India. They knew Columbus knew he was coming to conquer Jerusalem. He knew that. Fuck all the bullshit. The word Indian wasn't even in existence. The country was called Hindustan. So we know that they're lying, talking about, oh, he was gonna get the fuck. He was with people who been here before. He was with people who traveled the seas and knew everywhere. So stop fucking lying motherfuckers, because if they didn't, so you think these people was just traveling and then making mistakes and landing in a land where they can fucking die? Nah, they knew these people had fucking telescopes and shit. Like little scopes and shit, the way they can see where they was going or whatever. They had all this, man. They knew where the fuck they was going. You understand what I'm saying? But they gonna keep you lying, talking about, he can't. He thought he was going to India, so that's why he claimed that the people was in. Get the fuck out of here, my dude. All right, so what are we learning about her and her ancestors and all the people? You see all the people? Look. This is a lady. Right, let me see this right here. Right here. Let me play it. It's all these people. None of these people up here represent you. Ain't you supposed to be represented by a group of your own peers in any of these matters? The only people you see, white people, and you see immigrants, and you see Chinese people up there. You see all these immigrants up there that's basically denying us the fucking access or the right to get what the fuck we supposed to get. But they ain't deny you bastards access to this country. They didn't deny you access to come here. And that's the problem. Coming here is reparations to a lot of these people. They come here for what? The same thing that we read here. All of them have the same thing in common. Okay? It's saying, all right, so it said as the years passed, more and more settlers arrived and took more and more land. They cut down trees. They built fences to keep people out and to keep people and animals out. They demanded that the Indians stay off their land. Look, listen to this shit. This is what they do now. Listen to this shit. One more time. Who do they do this to? As it said, as the years passed and more settlers arrived and took more and more land, they cut down trees. They built fences. It's saying to keep people and animals out. They demanded that the Indians stay off their land. Okay? They demanded it. Listen to this shit, right? Look, I'm gonna play this other guy. I want to hear what he gonna say real quick. This guy right here, which this nigga is a Puerto Rican. Watch what he said. We don't deserve nothing. Like, and they got these people are scripted. They're not gonna have nobody up there who gonna lay the ultimate facts down to why people up there need reparations, man. The same way you gave the Jews reparations, the same way you came here and took land from people. And but see, what's gonna happen is that you never gonna mention this because you want to mention it. But even if you took land from the freemen or from anybody, if you have any evidence or any history of taking land from anybody who you may think is a black person, meaning you contribute to something. But see, these people sitting up here, they're trying to just keep on stalling it out to the point that we ain't got nothing to do with that. That was you're here. You're here. Look, another problem between the settlers and the Indians evolved religion. It's saying, hold up, nah, that wasn't it right there. Hold up, it was this part right here. No, it was saying as years passed, more and more settlers arrived and took more land. Okay, they built fences and demanded Indians stay off their land. So they came here on your land that you let them have and told you could not come on your own fucking land. They never said they sold it to them. They just started coming here. Now look, what did the lady just say? Oh, it was the promised land for better opportunity. So all these other miserable bastards from around the world come here and do the same shit. And then at the same time, they fly their flag and want you to be proud about their culture. But your culture can't even provide for your ass and your land. That's why you're here. You're not here for no other reason. You're here to benefit from the land that the Black Americans or Black Aborigines built. And that's it. And then you twirl around, wear your little black American shit, look like a black American, but deep down inside, you like, oh, you more, oh, dang, man. You look at the system, you look at white people like, hey, guys, because they brought you out of your they brought you here. So you are forever entitled and great indebted to them. So you could come here and look like one of us and play both sides of the fence. And then on the other side, oh, nah, you don't deserve reparation. Oh, what about that? What about Latinos and Hispanics? What about everybody else? Nah, you know, like you gotta go fight that with Spain or the people who came in colonize. Don't blame the United States for everything. If the United States did something within the last 100 years, that ain't got nothing to do with what the fuck they did the last 500 years before they even created this shit. So, all right, so it's another problem. Talking about Christianity was one true faith, and that all believers, but we did not believe to change our spiritual belief. Right? So it said, as many settlers came to believe that the Native Americans could not be trusted because they were not Christians. Now look, it's saying they began to fear the Indians. It's saying and think of them as evil. The European settlers failed to understand that the Indians were an extremely spiritual people with a strong belief in unseen power, unseen power, not no white guy that they gave you to where they saying, oh, believe in him. Oh yeah, this is your God. Like what? Are you serious, man? You don't get that shit out. Man, you better throw some motherfucking arrows at that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? It's saying the Indians live very close to nature. They believe that all things in the universe depend on each other. It's saying all native tribes had ceremonies that honor the creator of nature. See, we looked at, oh shit, man, this motherfucking fruit, man, this shit good to the mother. Thank you, God. Thank you. What do we do now? Every time something happen, what you say now? Thank you, Lord. Thank you. We still do that shit. We still do it today. The unseen power. What did I tell you? The Natchez, they worship the sun. What the fuck is the God? What is Jesus? They claim him to be the sun. What is that halo? That halo ain't nothing but the fucking sun. Ain't nothing but the fucking sun, you dummies. And they got you practicing and calling on something that don't even exist. Okay? Got you believe in some shit that don't even exist, man. And the shit is hysterical, man. And who the most faithful believe? Who the most believer in people in Christ now? Us. And then other people come here with that same shit, man. They come here. These people come in from the other country. They go to church every week. They try to do everything. They try to live just like the white man tell them to do. Go to work. Make sure your kids go to school. Make sure your kids don't do no crime. And go to church on Sundays. Can you do that when you get here? Yes, sir, I'll do that. And stay away from them Negroes. Okay, no problem. All right. But then, like I said, they ain't got no choice but to stay away from you because they can't move in them white neighborhoods because they can't afford to live there. So where do they come? They come in our neighborhood where they blend around you until they get numbers on top of you. And then once they get numbers on top of you, then they start shitting on you. They start jumping you. They start doing it ain't just gotta be no other people. It's all people do that. It's just an observation for you to know how people treat Black Americans. And it is what it is. They love you. They want to look like you. Nah, I'm telling you, everything. Look around America today. Look around America today. Everything is culturally influenced by Black Americans. Everything. Every motherfucking thing. Every other fucking video is either R&B song or a fucking rap song. Everybody talking with their hands, trying to be cool, trying to do the shit we do, or how we be talking, or how we break shit down, move with our hands. You see all that. You now the same ebonics that people shamed or frowned upon when you at the motherfucking gourmet fucking wine and cheese parties and shit. You can't say, yeah, my dude. You can't say it, but now you can say that shit. If a white dude be like, yeah, my brother, or if he say some shit like that, that's culturally a cultural term or whatever, then they looked at like, oh shit, that was cool, man. You cool as hell. You can wear Jordans with your tuxedo, but I gotta come in shoes. If I come with Jordans in my tuxedo, you want to send me home. But the white boy will come with Jordans in his tuxedo. He could come with fucking whatever the fuck you want to wear. But you come with that shit is different impacts. All right, so look, so let's continue. So It's saying other events also led to the serious problem between Native Americans. Now remember, who did they enslave? We in Massachusetts. Who did they enslave in Massachusetts? Oh, damn near every tribe there. Oh shit, damn near every tribe there. But they're gonna tell you, oh, it was only probably about 1,000 people. And we brought the majority of people here from Africa. So, you know, they mixed in with them. That's the reason. And that's the like you lying bastards, man. You lying motherfuckers, man. And you telling people this shit and people believe this shit. When we got the evidence that you wasn't, this is an Indian. This ain't no damn African. This is a motherfucking Indian. These are Indians. These are Africans. Don't you see them with the damn pipe and a feather crown on their head? Don't you see this? These are motherfucking Indians, man. And then they lie to you. Look, they was enslaving Indians. That's it. That's it. That's it. And the nigga still got his feather crown on in his shirt, and the nigga name was Frank. It's saying, look, he carried off with a gun and a shot pouch. It's saying with him, he's likely well made fella. It's saying speak broken English. Speak broken English. Nigga named Frank. Look, and he still got his feather crown on and his motherfucking his kilt. Still got his shit on. Frank said, you know what? I'm out of here. And nigga just hauled ass and got up out. Nigga took him some arms and kept it moving. You see that? We do see that, right? They was enslaving the same people. This motherfucker right here is part of the same shit that he's part of because they dressed alike. See, he got his motherfucking chains around his neck. You know what I'm saying? He got his chains around his neck. Look, this is all shit that we do today. This is what a real Indian look like. You've been looking, well, this is what our Indians look like. I ain't gotta go no further because every image shows it. Every image shows it. Look, the feather crown and the grass skirt. So you niggas who running around there who got ancestors from the South who running around here with these Mongoloid Indians and you running around, you niggas is frauds, man. And I'm just telling you, straight up, this is what real Indians wore. This is what real Indians wore. And I'm just telling you, the Indian shape, even if we jump around and go, let's go further into it. Let's see. We could jump around the damn around Americas and shit. We ain't just gotta stay in North America. Let's move around. Everywhere you look, you see that same image. Look, this is American Indian too. He just got his band around his head. He got the same feather crown on. It looked like he got fucking armor on. On this one, like he got an armor on. You know what I'm saying? The same shit. These are motherfucking American Indians. Look, let me see. You see all over the Americas, man. Look. Look, you got a back. That's a back, motherfucker. They try to say Afrique. Nope. That's what they calling it. These are more American people. These are people more from the Americas. Now look. Check this out. See that same image. Let me see. They go more of it. This is what you're looking for, bro. You're looking for that feather crown, that grass skirt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we wore pants sometime. We did wear cowhide and all that other shit that you see too. But for the most part, we basically went naked, man. Columbus tells you that. They basically go as naked as basically go as naked as their mother bore them. This is what he said. But we see even in them same colonies, we do see in certain areas we wore bagari, we wore different clothes and shit. Look, I think it's a fucking gang. Look, look, a motherfucking Negro, and like I said, the hits just keep coming because there's more and more pictures of this. These are not no fucking Africans that's working on. And then you got people who put this shit out there who don't know the history, who up there speaking for you, and they representing people who who are not even real people. Ain't no such thing as no damn African American. Ain't no such thing. It's a made up fucking term. Now look at this cell right here. Look, like another cell. Now, I don't know if at this part of time are these people fucking Moriscos or whatever the fuck you want to call them. But look, they go Jamaica. Now look, that's Jamaica right there. Okay, so it wasn't just in America that we was wearing this shit right here. I'm thinking the woman wore probably the one feather and the men wore the feather crowns. Okay, that's what I see most of the time when I see the women. I see the women wearing one feather or having maybe two feathers, and the men wore the feather crown. In some cases, because remember, that's also a lady in this picture right here. It's a lady right here. You see, she got breast. She got one on. And then this one too right here. This probably a mixture of one of the people who came here, but you see the Europeans right here carrying her. So let me go back and conclude this article. Let me get out of here. One more joint I'm gonna rock with before we get out of here. I'm gonna show you something somebody sent me. Shout out to the brother sent me this too. All right, so now look. Let me see something. Hold up. You know what? All of this shit is pretty much the same rhetoric that we heard before. But guess what, though? I might as well go continue it out for people who never heard it that probably come here. So I say other events also led to serious problems between Native Americans and newcomers. It's saying one problem was disease. It's saying, for example, some settlers carried bacteria called smallpox, which we know come from living around fucking filth and eating things that cause infection in your body, which that's a parasite that they carry. Anything that can be passed on to a person is a fucking parasite, my dude. So it's saying, although they themselves did not get sick, smallpox has caused deadly epidemics in Europe. And that's the reason why you gotta take fucking shots, because you live around the people who got that shit active in their body. It's saying, but it's unknown to the Indians. It's saying their immune system had developed no protection. Now, this is what they tell me. It killed a whole tribe. It says smallpox was only one disease brought from Europe. They also brought other. Now, listen, they're telling you this, but guess what? We got evidence that you was moving thousands of Indians from New York to Charleston to South Carolina. So apparently all these people did not die. So stop it. And if you listen, like I said, for anybody who come into this channel or new coming to this video, right, go back and check my other videos with the slavery. I got a bunch of them dealing with the slavery. And most of them want to tell you the same shit, that in all 13 colonies, they had Indians. What was the Indians classified as? Huh? What did they say? What did they class? Say Indians not taxed, not enumerated. The families of Indians who have renounced their tribal rules, who are under the tribal laws, exercise the rights of citizens. Okay? It's saying are to be enumerated. So as long as you exercise the rights of citizens, you are to be enumerated. It's saying opposite their name in column 6. Let's just place them as colored. Okay, let's just place them as colored. Okay, what do we got to support this? We got this to support this. All right. Look, let me see something. The primary agent in the policy was the federal government, who sought for most of American history to force Indians to conform to conventional white culture. The results of the tribes was disastrous and wrote in sovereignty and cultural identity. Okay? Remember, Anglo-Americans enacted this dogma by attempting to erase the distinctive Indian identity, which they did. And they classified you as this. They classified you as colored. See this? Colored. Also, who else we can get saying this? Can we get another U.S. Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson pondered the Indian question and concluded that one thing or two things must be done with the Indians. Either those sons of the forest should be mortalized or exterminated. Humanity will rejoice the former, but shrink the horror from latter. He decided that civilization was their only hope and that it would, they said, put their children in a primer and a hoe. Now look, the primer and the hoe. They already did that from the time they got here. Look. They already did from the time they got here. They go your ancestors right there in Virginia. Look. See this? The hole right there. Look. Right. They go right there, see? So we know. Okay, so they telling you right here. This is the president telling you. Who is he to make up the terms of what happened to the people of this land and what you should do with them? So I mean, like these people running around here talking about reparations, and they're applying you, saying you African slaves, which I can pull up numerous articles up here that's telling you that the Indians was enslaved in a larger number than any Africans that was born here. Okay. Now, on another note, I want to read this other article that the brother sent me. And remember this too, even when you start talking about reparations, right? So they gave, let's see something. Check this out. Let me see something. All right, so it's a 6 time. Man, let's go on this one because this will give us a more broader show real quick. And this is what these niggas not speaking, because everybody else get the same conversation. Oh well, so you ain't had nothing to do with the Jews neither, but you pay them. You ain't had nothing to do with these people neither, but you pay them. Now look, check this out. I said 6 times the victims have received reparations, including 4 in the United States. So we're going to read all of the United States. All right, look around the way. Look. And they only did this for some type of PR study. You know what? And I'm still showing my screen. Let me see something, man. Holy shit, y'all. The whole time I wasn't showing my screen, y'all. Oh, I am showing it. All right. I don't know what the fucking screen was. All right, so I am showing it. All right, so we good. All right, so let me see. Okay, that's very good. Okay. All right. Let me see. What the fuck is going on with this shit? Why is it doing this? Let me see something. My bad. This is bugging. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me see. Just give me a second. The screen folds up. I don't know why. All right. I don't know what the fuck that's about. The whole screen just went black. All right, I believe we back. Let me see. It's still sharing. Let me see. All right. All right. Thank you, God. We good. So look, so these are 6 times that they gave. Look, these are 6 times that they gave slavery. So the Holocaust. It's the closest analog to reparations for slavery and Jim Crow. Was probably the reparations that West Germany agreed to pay the Holocaust. A major component was $7 billion. 2014, it said West Germany agreed to give to then young state Israel. It's saying quotes go in the Israel debate, saying around the reparation detail. I mean, the leaders of Israel, conservative opposition, and later its first right of Senator Prime Minister opposed the bill on the grounds that it appears to forgive Germany in exchange for money. But the bill eventually went through, and the consequences for Israel well-being was astonishing. It's saying here quotes. Now let me see. Let me read some more. Said by the end of the 1961, these reparation vessels constituted 2/3 of Israel merchant fleet. It's saying writes that Israel historian Tom Sag whatever it's saying the book 7 million from 1953 to 1963. The reparation money funded about 1/3 of the total investment of Israel electrical system. It's saying which tripled the capacity and nearly half the total investment in their railroads. Saying Israel GNP tripled during the 12 years of the agreement. The Bank of Israel attributed 15% of the growth, along with 45,000 jobs, to investment made with reparations. It's saying now, it's saying, but that was actually a tiny fraction of Germany total reparation payment, which totaled 89 billion as of 2012. Largely went into individual survivors. The term of the reparation, mostly of which are negotiated by the conference on. Oh my God, what the fuck is going on, yo? All right. The conference on Jewish material claims against Germany, which negotiated about 70 billion of that total, are constantly evolving, with some payments made on one-time basis and other monthly pensions and various amount. The conference had a good breakdown of various funds and how much they paid out here. All right, so that's just giving you an example. Now, let me see something. All right, so it said 2005, an Israel government report put the economical cost of the Holocaust in the terms of low income, unpaid wages, seized property, and somewhere between 240 billion and 320 billion. Even the extensive reparation effort undertaken to this date do not come close to the equaling of that. It's an obvious further compensation from lost loved ones and pain. Now, like I said, look, they complaining about that, which they already know. They was moved to a whole nother country, which basically they was never in, and you took land from other people. You was never in Israel. So everything you lost, your people got back, and they compensating you like they came here. America benefited heavily from taking the land from people, and they still benefit from it. And the people who saying that they ain't had nothing to do with it are still people who benefit from it. All right, now they gave them. Now listen, now look, now we're gonna go into this one, right? Japanese, and then and internment camps. All right, so the forced internment of 120,000 Japanese Americans in camps during World War II resulted in 3.1 billion. So they gave them 3.1 billion, right? So if you divide that amongst them, you divide that amongst 120,000 people, 120,000 people, all right? So divide 120,000 into 3.1 billion. It's said in property loss and 6.4 billion. Now they gave these niggas, listen, they gave these niggas reparation, and they was warring with a whole nother country. The Japanese came here and attacked America, and they gave these niggas reparation for them. That's what the fuck they were supposed to do. They were supposed to put them people in concentration because they are a high risk, being as though that we're fucking fighting your country. But they still paid them money, and they won't give your fucking that shit, even though that we just read. They know you are Indian. They know they're on your land. They know that they benefited heavy from everything in America, but they will give these people who they was at war with. You was warring with these motherfuckers and gave these niggas reparations. Do you see this shit? All right. Now I said Congress made 2 attempts at reparations. It said at the Japanese American Claims Act of 1948. It said in Civil Liberties Act of 1988. Between 1948 and 1965, the former authorized payment totaling $38 million, which comes to somewhere between $286 to $374 million in 2014, which didn't come close to matching the economical loss and latter of offended survivors, 20,000 each in reparations. By 1998, 80,000 survivors had collected their share for a total payment of 1.6 between 2.3 billion and 3.2 billion today. There is no accounting by whether either measures adequately repaid internees for their economical losses, let alone compensation for pain and suffering. All right, so now look. And they did that, and you should have got shit. They should have deported all them people. That's what they should have did. Fuck it. All right, well, either you're gonna be deported or we're gonna put you here. That's what they should have did. You warned these niggas just came here and dropped and bombed Pearl Harbor, and you giving them people money, and you took the land with you claiming this right here. Ain't these people descendants of these people right here? That's we. Look, says it right here. As years passed, more and more settlers came and took more land and cut down trees, built fences to keep animals out. They demanded the Indians stay off their land. Okay, now we can go down here. We're gonna talk about how they enslaved the people of the land too. All right. Now look, fuck it, just for happen, it's saying time. However, something would happen and to cause a crisis. Perhaps the settlers would demand that Indians stay off the settlers' land. Perhaps someone was killed. Fear would replace friendship. One side or the other would react to what they believed was an attack. A good example of this was a conflict known as King Philip War. Metacom is saying and was a leader of the Wapanaki tribe. He was the son of Chief Massasoit, saying without the help of Massasoit, it's saying his tribe and the first European settlers in the northernmost colonies might not have survived. It's saying in their first winter, the Wapanaki Indians provided them with food. It said they taught the settlers how to plant crops and other crops. It's saying the two groups were very friendly, it's saying, for several years. The Massasoit and his court attended the first Harvest Fest, which became known as Thanksgiving. This is according to them. We know what Thanksgiving was. All right, it's saying one small crisis after another finally led to the killing of a Christian Indian who lived with the settler. The Indian settler retaliated by killing 3 Indians, saying King Philip War quickly followed. It began in 1775 and continued for almost 2 years. Men, women, and children on both sides was killed. Historians say as many as 3,000 Native Americans died, which Aborigines died in violence. More than 600 settlers has believed to have been killed. Historians say that the tribe of Indians called the Nassagat was innocent victims of King Philip War. The Nassagat was not involved in the war. They did not support one group or another. They say, however, the settlers had come to fear all Indians and killed almost all the members of the Nassagat tribe. I would say lying about that. It said the fear of failure to comprise were not unusual. They would strongly influence relationships between the European settlers and American Indians. It's saying all areas, the new country, these clashes of culture will continue as more and more Europeans arrive. The Puritan from Europe, from England, landed in Massachusetts. The Dutch settled in what we would know as New York State, and the Quakers, unwelcome in England, settled in Pennsylvania. They will be our story next week. And saying you'll find all right. So we basically put that out there. But check this out, right? Look, so they paid them people in concentration camps. Right? Let's read this. The Devil Punch Bowl. The U.S. concentration camp where thousands died have been erased. All right. They killed thousands. Now look. We got a video on this too, so you want to go back and check it out. And which the people that was in Nazi was indigenous to that land. They was Nazi Indians. They were the descendants of the Mississippians and the descendants of the other Nazis that was taken to Santo Domingo after the French got kicked off the land. All right, so look. Historians concerned about the fate of Black Indians in the immediate aftermath of the Civil War. Now look, the immediate aftermath of the Civil War, working to piece together the story of the Devil Punch Bowl, a hellish concentration camp in Nazi, Mississippi, which might be one of the most disturbing instances of all American history. Now remember, the Europeans just got into, the United States just got into Mississippi at around like 1780 or around that time. They kicked out the French, okay? They stopped it. They warned with these people. So you saying that whole time that they warned with these people, or all these wars going on, that they was able to slip slaves in and have these people work while wars, just get the fuck out. They enslaving the people on the land as they go along. That's it. And these was people who was living on the land. This was a land claim. Now look, it's saying the Nat Chat in Mississippi, which might be one of the most disturbing instances in American history. The American hellish concentration camp and the Devil's Punch Bowl. Following the end of the Civil War, there was a mass exodus. Now they're gonna say mass exodus no, those people was already there. So don't even fall for that. They was already there. These men, women, and children, they say, migrated north in the hope of building new lives, saying the migration of former slaves was deeply unacceptable for the former Union soldiers, and saying who were bitterly disappointed about the outcome of the brutal war and decided to take their revenge. The most brutal example of this was the Nazi in Mississippi. Now, remember, Mississippi is not in North. Mississippi is in the deep South. So I don't know where they say in the North at, but the Natchez. Now, look, it's saying the Natchez experienced an enormous influx in population. Now they calling them. He said Natchez. Basically, they trying to say that the people of Natchez or the Natchez experienced an enormous influx in its population following the conclusion of the Civil War. It's saying with a vast majority of new inhabitants being former slaves in response of local people, it's saying built the encampment at the Devil's Punch Bowl. It's saying rounded up all of the Black people and forced them to enter. It's saying once they was there, they walled off the area and refused to let them out. Listen to this shit. They walled off the area and refused to let them out. Inside the Devil Punch Bowl, the former slaves endure even more hellish conditions than they had experienced on a brutal southern plantation, which that's bullshit because these are Indians. These are people on the land that he just did this to. It said thousands of men, women, and children perished because of exhaustion and starvation. The people were also struck with serious epidemic of diseases. Don Ashley says that thousands of people died from smallpox despite the intent. Now, thousands of people died from smallpox. When you know black Americans that was dying of smallpox, it's saying the intense suffering of that means that they just encountered these people, okay? Because the other people wasn't dying. That, like, you have to look at that. You have to really look at that. Okay, it said despite the intense suffering of the people inside the camp, the former soldiers had no compassion. The former soldiers, so who was they working for? It simply gave the men shovels to bury the dead. It's saying where they had fallen. It's saying the conditions became so intense bad that former slaves inside would plead to their white guards to let them return to plantations, my dude. So anytime you want to ask to go back to plantation, now look, it is very difficult to definitively explain what happened in Devil Punch Bowl. Much of the evidence about this incident had been gleaned from the oral reports. It's saying local people, which means that any conclusion has been criticized. Some people have claimed that only 1,000 people died in the camp, whereas other people have said that the prisoners preferred life there, and preferred life there to their existence there to the plantation. Now, like I said, these are people who was free. So how the fuck do you round up free people and then put them back on? Listen, and this is people who want to say, "Oh, we ain't had nothing to do with that." Oh, no, we ain't got nothing to do with that. Okay, so all right, so it's saying that it's saying as there are no methodology report keeping, it is very difficult to definitively dispute these circumstances. All right, now that's it right there. All right, the people, which going to tell you these are Africans, these are Indians. Look, you see that? Look, you see a leg right there. Look, these are whole bodies that they digging. Look, you see that? That's a leg right there. Look, these are whole bodies that they digging. So they did people, and the descendants of these people ain't never received nothing. But you can give people who was in Japan, you can give them reparations, and they can't attack Pearl Harbor, but they look at you as the same way. They look at you as a prisoner too. They look at you the same thing because you're the Indian that they was warned against, and they know that. So, all right, so we're gonna move on one more article real quick. This is what somebody sent me. I just want to just put this in there too, because this is a something that was covered up in history too. All right, so. This is a story. I'm not trying to hit this real quick. Brother sent me this. All right, so this is called the Ishmaelites of Kentucky. All right, and there are two discussions about the existence of the tribe of Ishmael. They say it was the tribe of Ishmael in Kentucky. Now, if you look what Kentucky at, Kentucky is in the Midwest. Well, not the Midwest, but it's. I don't know exactly. Let me look on my phone real quickly. Exactly, Kentucky. I don't know, just for the hell of it. Let's see. All right. Let's see. All right. So shit, Kentucky's right on top of Tennessee. Right. It's west of West Virginia. It's right there on top of, in between Indiana. What the fuck is that? Oh shit! That's fighting outside. Y'all hear that shit? Monty, you hear that? Huh? You hear the cats? Look, so Kentucky is on top of Tennessee and right in between Indiana, and it's west of Virginia. So this is where they said Kentucky was at. So it's saying, according to early sources, between 1785 and 1790. Now remember, 1785 and remember the war was going on at that point in time. It's a Islamic denomination called the Ishmaelites was first noticed in Noble County. In Noble County, it's in Bourbon County, Kentucky. The group was led by Ben and Jenny Ishmael. It's saying individuals, members were, it's saying multiracial background. I mean, these are probably slaves of people who migrated and just left. So it's saying multi-background, saying African, Native Americans, and poor whites. Now listen to it. It's the first generation included escapees from slavery and the Indian Wars. Okay, the Indian Wars and slavery is the same fucking thing. Remember, the slavery also dealing with the poor whites too. people who came here, who caught a ride over here and just decided not to be part of the bullshit that was going on. It's saying all having made their way to Kentucky from Tennessee, North and South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland in the early 1800s. The Ishmael's son, John, led the group across the Ohio River. It's saying to the area that today is part of Indianapolis. It's saying soon after the group became a nomadic community, they were viewed as odd and referred to as gypsies. The group was suspected of having a high infant death rate. And in the 1880s, it was common for children to be taken from their parents. Adult members was arrested on an array of charges and in prison, committed and bound to servitude. By the late 1800s, 3/4 of the patients in Indianapolis City, 3/4. So whatever the whole number was, it was like fucking 3/4. All right, so of the patients in the hospital, a mental institution where the tribe of Ishmael is saying in 1907, a compulsive sterilization law was passed in Indiana, and procedures was under to further reduce the number of new births of Ishmaelite members. Okay, so now it tells you, say the Black Crescent experience. Now they're gonna say legacy of the American African Muslim. That's bullshit. These are people who've been there. Like I said, these are people who've been there. They trying to tell you that they're Africans. Listen, this is in 1785. Remember, they didn't get into the Carolinas until like the 1700s. So these are people who escaping being enslaved. Okay, so these are people who was probably in the North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia region from the beginning. And if they carry these systematical faiths, then we already know. Because what did they tell you that that the Cherokee spoke? Paleo-Hebrew. So all of this shit started to really come into real play of even a biblical story. Because if we did not worship the sun, they were sun worshipers. They said most of the people of the land were sun worshipers. They always worshiped the sun as the most high or the unknown. Okay, because the sun brought forth all of the food. Okay, but you got these devils out here who trying to cover the damn sun up and want you to believe that, oh, the sun ain't no good because it don't mean them no good. It's been raining every fucking day, bro. How the fuck is always raining, bro? Because they covering the fucking sun up. This shit ain't natural. It's raining. It's rain every fucking day where I'm at in the north. Every day it fucking rains. Every fucking day it been raining. We get one sunny day, then we get 5 rainy days, or 4 rainy days, or 2. Then we get another. We get one sunny day where ain't no rain, or the clouds coming out. It's like I have never seen clouds like this. Like in the last, I say within the last 20 years, since I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 2000. I've never seen so many clouds. In 2000 was the first time that I've seen in my existence on this planet that in January in the north, it was fucking like 60 degrees. I've never experienced that. Never. You know what I'm saying? So we know either the weather itself is changing or people doing it to the weather. But this is just another story right here saying how they imprison these people and how they committed acts of genocide. But yet, like I said, you have numerous people who receive reparations. They paid the fucking this saying sterilization, but this ain't saying them people hit. And I said, look, the Tuskegee experiment. Now look, they said that all these people got reparations. I'm gonna read these and I'm gonna conclude with this. All right. So the Tuskegee experiment. It said after the end of the Tuskegee experiment, in which 399 black men with syphilis were left untreated to study the progression of the disease between 1932 and 1972. The government reached a $10 million out-of-court settlement with the victims of the families in 1974, which included both monetary reparations. In 2014, 178,000 for the men in the syphilis study. They said in the study who had syphilis, 72 $1,000 for their heirs and $77,000 for those in control groups, and $24,000 for their heirs and those in control groups. It's saying a promise of a long-time medical treatment for both participants and immediate family. According to the CDC, 15 descendants are still receiving treatment through the program today. All right, so he did that on purpose. All right, so Rosewood, let's say, in 2000, in 1923, the primarily black town Rosewood on the Gulf Coast of Florida was destroyed in a race riot. It's saying that by official count, killed at least 6 black residents. It's saying, and 2 whites. It's saying through some descendants of the town, residents have claimed more was killed and dumped in mass graves. It's saying in 1994, the state of Florida agreed to a reparation package worth around $3.3 million in 2014, of which $2.4 million today will be set aside to compensate the 11 of the remaining survivors of the incident. $800,000 to compensate those who were forced to flee the town, and $160,000 will go to the college scholarship primarily aimed at the descendants. So look, these are people who bring in their own claims to this country, and they are, whether you believe it or not, or whatever, Rosewood got reparations. But like I said, I believe some of these other cities have got compensated, but it's according to how you bringing it up. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you think a compensation should be for a person who you've been telling they're Africans when we really home, and you done took the land and classified us as colored and under forced citizenship? So, like I said, man, reparations, the whole thing is a forest. It's all a fucking one big. They put people there to let you relive what your ancestors did, and then the only outcome is going to be the same shit that everybody else get. Look, immigrants in California get free medical insurance. Immigrants, not even, we talking about illegals. We talking about people who ain't supposed to be in a fucking country. They get free medical insurance. They get free schooling, but that's a smack in the face to anybody who got any fucking any student loan, or even from a community college, because community colleges ain't free neither. That's a smack in the fucking face. A person who's not even a citizen, who broke into the fucking country and forced you to fucking give them rights, and the United States don't normally bend them fold, because this is all a fucking plan to bring these people in here to basically overpopulate us and push us out. They're doing it every day. How is the unemployment rate still at 6.6 more? There should not be one black American unemployed if you bring in immigrants here and they got jobs. If I want a job and it's an entry level job and it's a person who can't speak English, that's shame on you, because you still got 6.6 million blacks that ain't working. But you bringing people here from other countries, setting up communities, bringing people from Africa, setting up community, and then at the same point in time, we still have a heavy population of young men, and the people that's heavily not working are the young men, and they're the ones that's put into the system, and it's just the same shit. So like I said, I wouldn't mind to see reparations, but I don't want reparations as no African. I'm not even going to accept that shit as no African. You can forget that. Anything wording with the word African, I'm not accepting it. So, like I said, man. My email right there. Yeah, so like I said, man, at the end of the day, man, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to all of Hey, Big Chief, was you the one that reached out to me before, Big Chief? If so, if you the one who reached out to me, go my email right there. Just email me, just put Big Chief in it, because I could have swore you emailed me or we correspond at some point in time. Nah, white killer, white supremacy, and coons. I mean, listen, it's not about melanin to the point to where we know who the fuck we are. It's about melanin to the point that any melanated Indian are saying that they have African in them, and they're never making any claim that people here are melanated. Until you recognize a person here that look like somebody in your family or somebody was here, you're never going to understand what they doing to it. You understand what I'm saying? And that's exactly what's going on. I know lineage is the key, but understand this too. Also, the key is also showing them that it was already black people here, because they're never going to acknowledge you as them, and they don't even say, "Oh, because you got Negro and you got African in you." So yeah, Joshua Hebrew, I ain't forget about you, my brother. Matter of fact, when you get a chance, hit me up. Nah, look, killer. Listen, we're not Africans. We understand that. We understand that Africans have melanin. We also have melanin. Any scientist will tell you you have melanin too. So don't get that confused with being them. Because if that's the case, the word Negro is I mean, we all reject that word too. But the word Negro is also related to them too. So don't let the word, dark hue or a person of melanated descent. Like, we all melanated, you know what I'm saying? Any non-European who got any complexion or copper colored tone will be considered melanated. Africans are white people. What's up, bro? You have some pictures. Yeah, you gotta put my email in there, man. Don't put it in there one more time because you probably gotta go back up though. But yeah, I mean, just for the most part though, yeah, put it right. Just for the most part, that's pretty much what it is. Even dealing with this reparation talk and everything. All right, hold on, let me take a picture of that real quick. All right, I think I got you, Blue. I got you, Big Chief. Yeah, there's some brothers in the South. My father's family is, they got a red tone. They got a copper tone. I mean, not a reddish chestnut brown tone to them. But these people, I mean, unless you want to say, our reddish tone is different from that darkest tone that the Africans have. Maybe if that's what you're saying, because you don't see Black Americans with that same tone like Africans. We don't have that same shit, man. We don't have that same tone. Yeah, everybody got melanin. It's just however you want to put it. But you said carbon, so you said 666 pony locks. Carbon. They said 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, 6 protons, which equal carbon. Yeah, they got certain proteins missing, that they can't get from us because they are a different species. Even though that some of them, they only can make, that's why like you see a lot of interracial couples. Only some of them have children like that. You don't see a lot of them having children like that because they're not compatible most times. Yeah, they was doing it everywhere. But that's the case that they don't want to bring up. They would rather play it from a slave side than you being an Indian and they took your land and committed genocide. They don't want to talk. If you were talking about that, they would be in the chance getting tense because they know this fit more the narrative to what really happened here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, young Cherokee Prezi, I agree with you. There are different species. And there's only some of them though. I seen fucking Africans from different species who look just like us. And all of them don't look the same. Even when you look at Africa, All of them people don't look the same over there, bro. And we already done broke that shit down. You got real dark people over there, and then you got copper colored people too. Like my man from Liberia, my brother from Liberia, bro, that be in the gym with me. This nigga look like one of us. Cause he is one of us. His last name is Johnson. And he's from Liberia. He told me he half so-called Liberian and half American, because he said his mother was a Johnson that came there in the 1800s or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And his brother looked just like one of us. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of them look like one of us for the most part. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not saying we know we not them. We know we not them. We on a different frequency than they are. You ain't vibing with none of that shit they vibing with over there. We got a whole different culture over here. Whole different culture. So I'm about to get out of here, man. But like I said, man, shout out to everybody coming through. I got a bunch of research material, which I'm going to be doing a bunch of videos soon. Soon as I can formulate some of this stuff, because I got so many articles I need to just sort them out and just condense them and put them together. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you know, it is what it is. It's your boy Ahano, aka the Tonchless One. Like I said, if you like this, I'd like to donate. My PayPal account's floating around, as well as my cash app. I'll put it in a link. Or you just go back to one of the other videos and just find it in a link there. If you like to go to a Tonchless American t-shirts, where you know we got all original material. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of good people putting out Aborigine where you know you can even check them out. I mean, like I said, just pull around, cop stuff from everybody. Just cop something to make yourself being known. Like maybe you feel good representing yourself, you know what I'm saying, in that or whatever. So with that being said, man, I am the Tonchless One, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, man. No doubt. Appreciate everybody, man. Appreciate all y'all. Hold up, y'all. Press y'all. Take it. Oh shit. Let me take it real quick. And let me show y'all something real quick that that Cultivate showed me the other day. Look at this. Look at this right here. I don't know. Did y'all see this before? Look. America to her mistaken mother, right? Look at the Queen of America. She got a flag. Right? Look. They gonna start with them shields on it. Okay. Look at her, right? And this supposed to be who she's talking to. Right? And these are like hitting little code words and everything, or whatever, how she's saying, how she writing out. Coda could put this shit. He reads this shit though. But this is what the Indian looked like. And she had the crown on. So I mistakenly said that most of the women wore either one crown or one feather, which I see most of the time. I don't really see women wear them, but occasionally you do see it. So, you know, this is right here. This is what they said American. So you draw it up. So, all right. So with that being said, man, I'm the Tonchless One. Shout out to everybody, man. Love and light to everybody. And also, too, right? These videos are not meant to make anybody feel offended or make anybody mad or upset. They're only meant for educational purposes. And part of education is basically knowing the history of your culture and whether people feel like some of the material may be harsh according to the material I'm reading it and how I'm interpreting it. But it's history and it is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? This history is out there. So you're supposed to read these articles and get the sense of what? How are you supposed to react to reading some of this shit? I don't know. How are you supposed to feel after reading some of this stuff? Or somebody who do have an interest in history and decides to look into history and you find out this stuff and you got motherfuckers talking about make America great again. And then at the same time you find out all of the stuff that they did here within the 1900s. Yeah, in the 1960s and 70s there was a bunch of jobs floating around. But also I remember that a lot of people wasn't available for them jobs because you see most of the people in the inner city, they wasn't working like that. Most of the people I see, you had people who had low-level jobs, low-level income jobs. But for the most part, it was mostly warehouse and factory jobs. So, with that being said, man, once again, man, shout out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Donate to Culture Freedom and Culture America, Black Indians, PayPal, Cash App, Awesome Gold, like I said, copy or something. And like I said, man, do the due diligence, do your research. And you know, if you want to come out the status of being a color, then you have to be what you consider to be an Aborigine, and you have to proclaim that. So with that being said, I'm gonna talk to this one. Peace.